Coming up on the next episode of the Celsius Pod.
RWBY does have a gun in his room right now in case it goes on too long and he can't live through it. Oh my god! Was Kevin Costner having sex with an Australian supermodel?
This is the biggest plot twist in Celsius history. The second biggest plot twist in Celsius history.
A warning before the episode. This episode will be the longest in podcast history. We have a lot to talk about. We are planning 3 hours. So brace yourself.
Oh, brace yourself, everyone who watches the whole thing, which is nobody.
4 seasons of RWBY.
That's kind of my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
RWBY does have a gun in his room right now in case it goes on too long and he can't live through it.
True.
So guys, Beck has like a friend who has Letterboxd, and this guy, because he reviews every movie basically at like a 4.5 or a 5. He gave Wish a 4.5, I think, or something.
You're talking about my random friend?
Yes, I say this because
it's so rude.
But I'm not gonna knock him because the friend does follow me on Letterboxd.
Wow. So we can hear
and I can't knock the guy for watching
Letterboxd
movies.
Reviews.
Beck, why don't they follow me?
I don't know. Maybe you don't have good reviews, like how you gave Dune 2 stars.
I didn't like Dune.
So
I think that's fair to
be
say.
like, hey, can you follow my friend Aiden on Letterboxd? He needs more followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really need to hear the review. What was it? You said, fuck, where did it go? Did you delete it?
For what?
Your Despicable Me full review, suppository. Very insightful review there. You should get so many more Letterboxd followers.
That was the funniest joke in the movie. I laughed so loud.
He did say like I think he said like Wish was like one of the best movies of the year, which is kind of a crazy thing to say.
He has like a ranking of like every 2020s movie, and I think Wish was like number 2 or number 1.
Ain't no way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess he really likes movies, you know?
Yeah.
But you can't knock a guy for that, except you kind of can, because I am. But you know what?
Wish was number 4 of the 2020s.
What is number?
Number 1 is In the Heights. Number 2 is Raya, The Last Dragon. 3 is Avatar 2.
Raya's number 2?
Yes.
That movie's terrible.
I know. I don't want to knock this guy, but I am not a fan of Raya.
What was the type of guy who watched like a piece of paper on like screen and said, "Best movie of the decade"?
So true.
But no, he liked my review of A Star Is Born because we gave it the same score, and that's amazing.
Yeah, he's a really cool film guy. We were in comedy lit together, and literally like 90% of the class period we would just be talking to each other about films.
No,
he's also the guy I saw Argyle with, so.
Wow.
And did he give it like a 5?
No, he thought it was a good movie though, so we disagreed on that.
Argyle was a good movie, and you do know it is the best movie of 2023.
I did say this movie is a masterpiece. Maybe out of context, but and I wasn't talking about
within context.
But I did say the words, this movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah. What was your fault, really?
Let's get to RWBY, guys.
Okay.
All right, because he...
Yeah.
All right, so last time, RWBY's kind of caught up because he edited the video last time. So he knows what's up. He's familiar with all the characters.
Definitely.
So, Volume 3 is where we're starting now, because we finished Volume 2 last time. Well, I had already watched Volume 3 at that. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Just kidding.
No, we started Volume 3 together after that pod. Like, should we watch RWBY Volume 3?
Yeah, and then we did do that.
Okay, so I feel like Volume 3 was the end of, like, I want to say, some kind of Saga 1 of RWBY, whereas, like, the first 3 seasons kind of felt like the first Saga.
Yeah.
And
then every other 2 seasons feels like a different Saga.
Yes. Well, yeah,
At the point we're at right now.
It feels like the first 3 seasons were like all in Vale, 2 in like Haven, and the next 2 in Atlas.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, so let's get into what 3 happened.
Yes.
3, the Vital Festival that they've been teasing for the last 2 seasons is finally happening.
A big fighting. Oh wait. Yeah. I just want to say.
Yeah, a big.
Today was a big RWBY day for me. I binged basically 2 full seasons, and the only break I took was to get a rejuvenating root beer from Aiden's place of work.
Whoa! I did see him at my place.
I will drink.
Why did you say root beer?
Root beer,
like Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Ratatouille.
So I will be drinking this in honor of RWBY.
True.
But the Vital Festival, big tournament.
Yeah, there's a big tournament happening, the Vital Festival. And for like 3 episodes, it's like, not for 3 episodes, for most of the episodes, really, it's just fighting.
It is.
Pretty much.
But it is good.
Which is cool.
And
it is good fighting.
Character called Neon, based on Neon Cat, and that wasn't cringe at all.
Yeah, I didn't really like her, but the trumpet guy was cool. His gun was a trumpet. But we also get introduced to Uncle Crow in Volume 3.
Okay, so the thing with RWBY Season 3 is it kills my favorite character, but then it introduces my second favorite character.
Really no, don't say your second favorite character is Crow.
I love Crow. Dude,
oh my god.
Bro. Okay, well, it's between 2 and 3, because Nora's also really cool. Yeah,
Nora's also really cool. But we get introduced to Crow, and Crow is this super secret guy.
You may be thinking his name is Crow, like Crow, but no, that's too simple. It needs to be spelled Qrow. Because they're quirky like that. And you might think Vitals Festival is spelled Vital, but no, it's Vytil. Because they love doing it.
If only Jim Crow is that quirky.
Yeah, right, guy? Anyway, what really even happens in Volume 3 aside from fighting?
Introduced to the 4th magic system.
Woo! 4th magic system! And what is that?
There's so many magic
this episode.
What?
8 magic systems.
Yeah.
We have to introduce the 5 new ones that they introduced.
Woo! But 4th magic system. There's these things. There's these people. They're like the
maidens.
The maidens, and they represent each of the seasons.
Yes.
And Ozpin is like Pyrrha from Team Juniper. You're like really, really good at fighting, and you're really hot. So we're gonna make you the new Spring Maiden. How does that sound? It's Fall Maiden. Yeah. The new Fall Maiden. How does that sound, Pyrrha? And she's like, that's kind of crazy because you just told me that you're going to kill this woman and put her soul into me, and then I might be a different person after that. I'm going to have to think about that shit. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because it also means that magic is real. Because dust and semblance and aura was not magic.
That's not magic, guys. All the stuff that looks exactly like that's semblances. That's not magic. The fact that a guy named Crow can turn into a crow, that's not a semblance.
We don't know that yet.
I'm giving a bit of head stuff, okay?
All right. Well, there's a lot of fighting, but really what's important is that the villains, not the main villain, because she hasn't been introduced yet, and not the lower villain, and not the lower villain, and not the lower villain, but the main villain of this season.
The person that we thought was the main villain is 3 villains below the actual main villain.
Yeah, so
we just keep swapping main villains every season.
So this villain is Cinder Flame, who was introduced at the end of Volume 1, didn't do anything in Volume 2, and then now is here in Volume 3 and is pulling all the strings for the Vital
And she
Festival.
sabotaged something in Volume 2, which is coming back.
Yeah, she hacked into the Atlas computer stuff.
Yeah.
But now she has all the Atlas computer stuff, and she can rig the fights. So she rigs the fights where she has like as the games go on, we got Weiss and Yang versus or not Weiss and Yang, just Yang. Yang is the sole Team RWBY representative against this Mercury, the guy with the boot guns.
Yes.
Or like they're rivals at this point, but then Yang beats him, and then he's like, well, you beat me, but not for long, and then he attacks her. But it's only an illusion from Mercury, because that's her semblance that they don't explain.
Emerald.
And Emerald, sorry, from Emerald.
Yeah, Emerald semblance is tricking people.
It seems to me that this show is very very flimsy, and it's like very kind of poorly written.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how many times they sat and rewrote the entire lore of this show, because it feels like
so many
times. Like,
yeah, Beck was watching it. I'm like, don't worry about what they say now. Worry about what they say.
I'm like, okay, they tell this story about an old. Okay, I can't. Like this old man, and he gives the four maidens their power, and they completely change that.
Yeah. So they rig the fights. They rig the fights, and Yang she's disqualified because she seemingly broke this guy's leg for no reason, and now everyone's mad at Yang. She actually
saw an illusion of him attacking him, so she thought he was doing a good thing, but everyone else thinks she randomly attacked this guy out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of nervous.
And everyone's kind of like, "Whoa, this is how Beacon trains their children." And then they put Penny versus Pura. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Pura does magnets, and Penny is a robot. So you put those together. You put those together, and bad shit's gonna happen. Nobody knows Penny's a robot besides RWBY and the bad guys. So, Penny dies. Penny gets her arms ripped off, her head comes off,
gets ripped apart in slow motion.
Yeah,
I was spoiled that this happened, so it wasn't as impactful for me, but it was still really sad.
It was very, very much something that happened and was crazy. And then shit happens.
And then everything blows up.
Up to this point, things have been relatively normal. We got Crow arguing with Ozpin and the general, and he's like, "Hey, guys, why is your whole army here?" And the general's like, we gotta have the army here. And Crow is like, "Well, that's not very smart of you." And then the general's like, "Don't worry, Crow, it'll be okay." And then Ozpin's like, "No, Crow has a point." And then nothing matters. And also Weiss's sister is there. And I don't fucking know what happens. And we also have a backstory episode about Cinder and Mercury
Emerald when they're attacking the Four Maiden.
But that doesn't matter.
But basically, so Penny dies, and then everyone's like, okay, we need to get out. We need to protect Beacon, which is like their school.
Because after Penny dies, they're like, fuck, Beacon can't train their children for shit. And then a bunch of Grimm attacks. Like, so much Grimm, because everyone just witnessed the death of a child.
I like the concept of the Grimm being attracted to negativity, because it just means everything can, like, feedback loop on itself where something's going bad, then Grimm attack, and it just gets worse, and then more Grimm attack, and it just...
See, I like that, except for the part where it's like, just don't.
Okay, well, it's hard to not freak out. If only there was some character who could never freak out.
Yeah, imagine. I fucking hate that guy. Okay, so shit happens. Grimm are attacking, everyone's like, oh shit, Penny's dead, Yang is lost. Blake is like, the White Fang are also attacking at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is like the terrorist group run by minorities, which is very weird. Why did they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but shit happens. Okay, and you know what?
And then...
Here, I want to say one thing before we continue. Yang, one of the four main characters, does not show up in the finale episodes for fucking 40 minutes. She's not there.
Yeah.
They don't say where she is. She's just like, I'm fighting the Grim. I gotta go. And then she hangs up, and then she doesn't appear for 40 minutes. And then when she does, her arm gets cut off.
Yes,
Question.
that is the
Yeah.
big Yang thing that happens where Blake is fighting her ex-boyfriend, and then
The
Yang
leader
tries
of the White Thing.
Yeah, Yang tries to go save her, and she loses an arm. It's a crazy moment because her whole thing is she uses her like punching as her weapon, so losing an arm is like a big thing.
Yeah.
And then
You said that the episodes in like the first season were like what 5 minutes long. And now you're saying like 40 minutes.
Okay,
How long
yeah.
have
No. I'm just saying over like four episodes that are like
it gets
11.
a lot more consistent
7.
to around like 20 minutes in season 3. Like seasons 1 and
Yeah.
2 are very inconsistent with runtime.
Yeah, but like when I say 40 minutes, I mean like over the course of 3 episodes,
Okay.
she just straight up isn't it.
Yeah. And then
But none of the characters do anything important in like these last 3
Well,
episodes except
RWBY
for
goes
RWBY and Pyrrha.
Yeah, RWBY goes to fight Candleman. And she's
he
fighting
fights
Candleman, and then
Norman Torchwick. And also Neo is there. Neo, as we remember, is the girl who's like this small, and she doesn't talk, and she appeared in 2 fights, and she dies in this fight.
RWBY does the smart
for
thing
her.
of she has an umbrella, and then she just extends the umbrella, and Neo dies.
Great.
They're in the air.
And then Norman gets eaten by a bird, and
Yep.
that was kind of lackluster, but that's all right.
And then now the big
And also
thing
at this point, we kind of get the reveal that James Ironwood is actually a robot, or at least part robot.
Yeah, part robot.
Which I guess makes sense because they lean into the 4 Kingdom castle things being Wizard of Oz themed.
Yeah.
With Beacon being it's Ozpin and the Good Witch, and then there's James Ironwood, and then later we have Leo Lionheart.
Yeah.
But the big thing of these finales is that Pyrrha is finally like, okay, things are going bad now. I'm gonna like do the maiden thing.
Yes.
And then she kisses my favorite character, Jean, and then she launches him in the locker, and then he gives the best performance of any of the characters that have been given so far in the show. Where he's like, "You have to save Pyrrha! Don't give a shit about me! Go!"
So
like,
Pyrrha is going
yeah.
to is going and trying to swap with the maiden, and she does it. She's losing her life force. We're all scared, and then all of a sudden, an arrow right into the Fall Maiden's heart. Cinder, with her bow gun, now has the full power of the Fall Maiden, and then Pyrrha has failed. And Ozpin's down there like, run away. And then it's really badass because this is like the first time we've seen Ozpin fight, and he like stares down Cinder.
And he does a really good job until he doesn't.
And then Pyrrha gets away, but then we see Cinder come out, and Ozpin doesn't come out, so he died.
So Pyrrha's like, it's my destiny, because they talk a lot about destiny in like these couple episodes. They're like, it's my destiny to go and fight Cinder, and so Pyrrha goes to fight Cinder by herself.
Yeah.
And John is like, you can't do that. You're gonna lose. RWBY, go help her. And then Pyrrha fucking gets disintegrated. She dies.
Yes, Pyrrha is killed by Cinder, which was
That's 2 main character deaths. That's 2 character deaths in like 3 episodes. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then RWBY unlocks the 5th magic system, known as Silver
Eyeballs. Because she has gray eyes that glow.
So if you have gray eyes, you have the power to destroy any Grim you see.
Now, also, let's talk about the fact that this season has been pretty much, pretty nonstop really good.
Yes.
In the last 3 episodes, aside from, none of the main characters doing anything, they've been, exciting and cool and good.
Yeah,
and then
I feel like season 3 is, the best.
And then RWBY makes it to the main villain, and it cuts to white, and we don't see what happens.
Yeah.
and it falls on its face and kind of ruins everything.
Kind of
And
falls
then
in 10 minutes.
And then RWBY wakes up in her bed at her house, not at Beacon, but at her house. And her dad is like, RWBY, everything broke. Everyone escaped. Everyone's okay. Yang lost her arm. Weiss is with her family. Blake is missing. Stuff happened. You froze a guy with your eyeballs. And then that's how season 3
And
ends.
then we cut to winter, and then it's snowing, and then John comes, and RWBY runs away with what was left of Team Juniper, and they go to set off to do something.
Yeah. So that's that one. That's volume 3, which is pretty fire, I think.
It was a fire season.
One thing I also want to say is that the intro, when it falls, literally is just about the fall of Beacon. Like, if you listen to the lyrics, like, it's like, there will be no hero who will rise above. When it falls is just like when it falls, when the whole thing. Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to imagine that the fall of Beacon was a week ago. Because, like, I've watched so much RWBY in that time, and that event keeps playing out like it happened, like, years ago. So it's crazy to me that we're talking about it now, when it just feels like it's so long ago.
Yeah. So one thing you'll notice is that, hey, wait a second, what the fuck was Norman Torchwick doing ever?
Yeah, he was hired by Cinder to do something. To probably take down Beacon.
But Cinder wasn't doing anything yet. She had no affiliation with anything.
No,
I don't know how she.
Torchwick was like, someone hired me. I'm not gonna say who, but someone did, because we don't have that villain planned out yet.
Yeah, and Cinder had a lot of information that she probably shouldn't have had. Like, why did she know that the maiden was in the bottom of Beacon? Yeah. And also, if she knew that about that, then why doesn't she know about the 8th magic system yet?
Yep. Okay. All right, now season 4. What is the best intro that we've had so far?
True.
I really like the intro.
So let me quickly crank out what happens in volume 4. RWBY goes to Minstrel with Jean and Nora and Ren.
Team Ranger, baby.
Weiss is in her house and she wants to leave her abusive father.
She leaves.
Yang doesn't have an arm and she tackles not having an arm, and then she has a robot arm. Blake visits her family with Sun Wukong. So that's the whole season. Nothing fucking happens.
I want to point out at least 2 really good things I liked. I really liked how they dealt with Yang. I really liked her whole thing where they were like taking it slow and like her trying to deal with all this. And then there
Except for the fact that she wasn't in it very much.
Yeah. And then I also really like there's one scene, or there's like 2 things with Jean where it's like, first is he makes a new sword and shield from the metal of Pyrrha's old, I think, uniform or weapons, and I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, he has like the gold lining and stuff.
And then there's another scene where he is training to a video Pyrrha recorded for him, and I thought that was really sweet.
Anything with Jean and like his relationship with Pyrrha is pretty good.
Yeah,
just because they don't really do complex characters because they kind of don't know how to write them. So when they have the opportunity to and they do it, it's like, oh shit, they remembered how to write characters.
Yeah, and then we got Nora backstory for 2 seconds, so that was fun.
Yeah, Nora is a homeless little girl, and also we have a whole Ren backstory So Ren is one of the characters. He's on Team Juniper, now Team Ranger. He's hanging out with RWBY. His whole thing is that he's stoic and doesn't dare talk very much, and he's super lame. It's his fucking ability! They reveal that his ability is to be lame! What the fuck?
His whole magic is that he can mask his emotions.
He's
Which
just
just
lame because
makes
that's his
it-
ability. That just makes him a worse character overall. He's super uninteresting, aside from like the one episode where it's like, hey, this is the monster that killed his family. He's gonna get revenge on his family. That's the only thing that happens
Yeah.
with him ever. Ever for like the next 7 seasons. That's all that happens.
And then I do think the one thing we need to mention in season 4 is we are
Yes, the
introduced to
bad
the
guy.
real main villain of
Her
RWBY,
name, yeah.
Salem.
Her name is Salem, and she at this point doesn't do anything except look scary and have an orb that goes, and it's very
And
nasty.
we got a ton of random side villains introduced.
Yeah, so here's her lackeys. Her lackeys are man with mustache,
Who's a doctor
big guy.
who
Yeah, he's a
can't feel
doctor. A big guy who can't feel pain. A scorpion named Jon Snow.
No, it's
The
named Tyrion. Like
name-
in
yeah, the
Game of
scorpion.
Thrones.
His name
let's
Tyrion.
spell it.
I don't know. And Cinder and her lackeys.
Yeah.
So this is where the
And they get
hierarchy of villainy.
completely sidetracked. Like all
Yeah.
the kind of co-villains of season 3 are completely sidelined. We like never see them again.
Yeah, because they kind of forgot about
For-
them. They forgot about them, and also because they haven't really decided what they want the villains to do yet. They're just like, Scorpion guy, go fight Ruby. And that's all that they do in this season. They don't actually do anything except attack Ruby one time. And also Crow is with them, and Crow is like, Ruby.
Oh,
My semblance is bad luck, Ruby. Terrible news.
there was a good
that's-
scene where it's Crow talking with his sister, and I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah,
they're talking in a bar.
Who is Yang's mom, and also yeah, but nothing happens in Volume 4 except Ruby gets to Minstrel because they wanted to go to Minstrel because of reasons. And then Crow is like, "Oh, Ruby, good job. You were going to Minstrel, because that's where they're attacking.
That's
next.
where the plot's
Good on you.
happening.
That's where the plot's happening. Smart of you to go there. And then things happen in Volume 5. So that's why I think Volume 4 and 5 are like one. You got to watch those together, because if you don't,
Yeah.
Volume 4 just is empty because nothing happens.
Yep.
But Volume 5 is where things happen a little bit. So they go to the guy. They go to
let's first do the uninteresting person, Blake.
Yeah.
So Blake is like, Faunus, don't do terrorism. And then they're like, yeah, let's not do terrorism. And then they go
so that's
defend
what
the
Blake
final
does
battle.
for like half. That's what Blake does for half the episodes, and
It's
also
so
her
boring.
and also her lesbian chameleon friend is also there.
Yeah.
And all the Blake stuff sucks. I didn't like Blake because she was like,
I
her character
already
was
did
emo
not
rude.
like Blake going into this season. Now I also don't
Yeah.
like her more.
yeah, but she's not with the rest of the gang. As much as the rest of the gang isn't with the rest of the gang, she's like extra not with the rest of the gang.
Yeah, she's not even on the
which
same
is dumb.
continent.
No. But what is Ruby doing? Ruby goes and talks to the headmaster at Minstrel Academy.
Oh shit, we
in
forgot
Haven.
Ospen last season.
No, we don't fuck. It doesn't matter. Not yet. So they go and they talk to this guy, Leo Lionheart. He's like, "Oh boy, I'm Leo Lionheart."
He's very
oh.
cowardly.
Yeah, he's cowardly, like a lion.
Get it, like the lion from Wizard of Oz. They
And
make
he doesn't really matter.
Oz references though.
Yeah, but he doesn't really matter. He doesn't really do anything. He's just also working for Salem and giving all of the information from the good guys to the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then they're all hanging out, and they're all hanging out.
We
and
do
then
need to
this little-
explain what is why the villains want to attack Minstrel.
Not
So-
quite yet, because they haven't explained it yet.
They haven't? Okay.
No, not yet. And Weiss is on a ship, and she's flying in a ship, and Yang is trying to find her mom, and then she doesn't, and then she does. So Yang basically doesn't do anything for like 5 episodes.
finds
Weiss
her
doesn't
mom.
do anything for like 5 episodes.
Gets kidnapped by Yang's mom. I mean, the prison. Yang's mom is like, don't trust Ozpin. He's not a good guy. He cursed me with the ability to turn into a bird.
No, the ability
No,
to turn into
the
a bird.
ability-
What a horrific curse.
Yeah, it can change back at any time.
No, so let's explain a little bit of a little boy.
Magic system
Ozpin
number
died.
6.
Reincarnation and gods. So Ozpin is actually alive, turns out, but he's in a little boy's body. There's a little boy, his name is Oscar, and he's a little boy. And Ozpin's a little voice in his head that can take control of him whenever, because he can. And so Ozpin is like, hey guys, it's me, Ozpin, and a little boy. And Nora really likes that idea for some reason. But he doesn't really do anything except give us lore dumps, and then Oscar just sucks. I don't like Oscar up until like volume 7 when he does stuff.
Yeah.
But like for like 4 seasons he sucks.
Yeah, because he's really
That's
just
the problem with a lot
to
of
talk to
characters.
us.
Yeah. But Ozpin is like, guys, the maidens actually are the protectors of this thing called the relics, and there's 4 of the relics. And one of them, and there's one at each academy, and the one here at Minstrel is the relic of knowledge, and only the Spring Maiden can open it up. And Crow is like, oh, the Spring Maiden. I know where the Spring Maiden is. The Spring Maiden is with my fucking sister. And then it's with her sister. And also at the same time, Cinder goes to Raven, and Cinder's like, hey, Raven, we want you to work with Salem with us. And she's like, what's in it for me? Because you guys, I have a community of bandits, and I want to stay hidden with my bandit friends. And they're like, well, there's not really anything in it for you, but why don't you do it anyway?
We won't kill you, is basically what she's saying.
Yeah, and she's like, and she talks to her friend, which is the Spring Maiden.
Yeah,
and she's like, hey, Spring Maiden.
It's the Spring Maiden.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, Spring Maiden, why don't we just go steal the relic for ourselves behind their backs while attacking with them? It's a very smart play that doesn't make sense. Right. So things that don't make sense happen. And now we're at the final battle. Because nothing happens again.
What I do want to say about the maidens is I do think it was a pretty cool idea to have each relic hidden under a school. Because, I mean, like, you put the powerful relic inside the school for teaching powerful people. It's like the most defended place.
Yeah. And they do explain that very cool, and that does make sense. They basically, the schools are basically fortresses surrounded by people who know how to fight. Yeah, so that's very cool. But basically, nothing happens until the finale, where the bad guys show up, and by the bad guys, I mean Cinder and her 2 lackeys, Raven, her Spring Maiden, and Hazel, the big guy that doesn't feel pain. And also the Faunus all show up, and also Blake shows up. But Blake doesn't do anything.
The only important thing that happened is John gets his semblance, which is basically either power boosting an ally or healing them.
Like using his aura, because they use a line that Pyrrha says in like volume 1 where that he has a lot of aura. He just doesn't know how to use it yet. They use that and says like, Pyrrha once told me I had a lot of aura. So this makes sense that I can do that.
Damn, it's like a meme today, you know? He has the aura points.
Yeah. But they gotta fight the bad guys. So it's like Oscar versus like all of the people for some reason. And Yang versus Mercury, and Emerald versus Ruby, and Weiss versus, I don't remember who Weiss was. And Jean versus Cinder, because Cinder killed Pyrrha, and John is like, no, you killed Pyrrha, and he loses horrifically because he's bad at fighting. But just a lot of fighting happens, and then they forget the fighting is happening, and then Yang leaves the fighting to go talk to her mom, and her mom is actually a Spring Maiden. It's not the other person.
Her
And so
mom
we
is
do have
actually
a
the Spring Maiden, and we get to see a fight between the Fall and the Spring Maiden, basically between Raven and Cinder.
Raven. Yeah, and Raven
Raven
wins, and
wins,
Cinder
unlocks
falls down
the
a
relic,
big hole,
and
and
she
she unlocks the
definitely does
relic.
not die.
And Yang's mom is like, "Oh, Yang, why are you asking me questions?" And Yang is like, you said I could ask you questions." And she's like, "Drax, you're right." And then she leaves. And then Yang takes the relic because her mom doesn't really want the relic, but Yang should take the relic because it probably is important
Yes.
for her to have the relic. And so she takes the relic, and the bad guys lose because they lose, and they run away.
Yeah.
And Volume 4 and 5, approximately nothing happened. I think that's a problem this show has, where half the episodes, nothing happens.
I think it does set up it sets up the future seasons where it's like, we're going to go to each of the schools and get each of the relics. This is why we're doing it. All that.
Yeah. Well, okay, no, we don't know why we're doing it quite yet.
Okay, we don't know why we're doing it. But we
haven't explained that yet.
Okay, well, they're saying they want to stop Cinder and they get the relics to stop Cinder from getting the relics.
Yeah, but I don't think we're really missing anything from Volume 5. Let me go check my Volume 5 notes.
Yeah.
Crow is a bird is what I wrote. That's all right.
Yeah, Crow's really cool.
Yeah.
RWBY gets back together after 2 seasons, so that's cool.
Yep.
I felt like
they all hate each other. They all hate Blake though.
Yeah, I feel like they should have just. I think Blake joined it too late. But I feel like they waited a good amount of time to reintroduce them after season 3, so it did feel like season 3 did have impact.
Yeah,
and it felt good seeing them all talk. Like the one scene where like they all get together and they eat dinner. I thought that was really cool, and they're like sharing stories about what they were doing.
Yeah, except Blake isn't there, and then they never really fill Blake in on all of the important shit. Like that really annoys me that they don't like have that scene.
Yeah,
with like her like having the like, oh shit, things are happening and stuff. Like every other character gets the oh shit, magic is real, and Blake is just completely doesn't get that scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
But season 4 and 5, pretty okay, middle of the road stuff.
Yeah, I think better than 2 and 1, right?
Yeah.
Not as good as 3. Okay. No. Season volume 6.
5. Volume 6. Good news. Not very much happens in this one either.
Does anything happen in any season? You guys are saying like
season 3 stuff happens in.
Nothing ever happens. All that happens is that they're in the snow, and then they're in a city, and then they fight a robot, and then they make
3 episodes fucking run in a cabin for some reason.
Yeah, against the apathy monsters. But what's really important, aside from the fact that nothing happens, is that there's a lot of lore that happens in one episode. Because
like literally, like the only time we see RWBY characters is them walking around and being like saying one and then cutting back to the lore.
No way. So what happens is that Ozpin just kind of keeps saying shit, and it's just like, Ozpin, why didn't you fucking tell us that? And they're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then Oscar's like, guys, Ozpin's trying to take control of me. The relic, just say its name. Her name is Jin. And then they summon a genie from the relic of knowledge, which I guess makes sense. So they summon a genie from the relic of knowledge. Her name is Jin, and she answers your riddles 3, except she can only do 2 more for the time being, for the next 100 years.
I thought that was a cool detail. It gives a lot of depth into like who wished on it first.
Well, I mean, they say who wished on it first.
Who did?
Ozpin.
Okay, yeah, but I thought so he did one wish on it.
Ozpin did. Yeah, he did
Okay.
But so they're all in the snow except for the good characters and the one bad character, because they gotta go do other stuff, and they also find an old lady who doesn't really matter.
Well, the thing is, the whole thing is she has no eyes. So I'm immediately like, okay, what is the magic system that has to do with eyes? Because this woman is gonna know something about it because she's blind. You know?
And she hasn't done anything.
Yeah. So this
But we
woman
do.
is called the
Yeah.
Grim Reaper, which I thought is a really cool name. And she was a Silver Eyes. So
Wow.
she teaches Ruby how to use the Silver Eyes.
Kind of, but not really.
Yep.
Only a little bit. One time. But what really is important about Volume 6 is that they have the lore dump of Salem and Ozpin. And why? So it turns out there were two gods. We knew about the two gods, the Brothers Grimm, the light and the dark.
Yeah.
And we knew that they made the relics or something. But we don't know why anything happened. So it turns out Ozpin is reincarnating. He was a fighter, he's a knight, and he saved a princess from a castle. Her name was Salem. And they lived happily ever after until Ozpin died. And then Salem was like, "No, that's not fair." And she went to the god of good, and she's like, "Bring my husband back." And he's like, "No." And then she goes to the guy of evil, and she's like, "Bring my husband back." And he's like, "All right." And then the good god is like, "Brother, remember we talked about this?" And he's like, "Oh, right, we did talk about that. I forgot.
I shouldn't be doing this."
And so they kill Ozpin again, but they do that for like 4 times. So he like dies and reincarnates like 4 times in like 1 second. That's not terrifying or scary at all. And Salem's like, "Damn, what the hell?" And they're like, "No, it's all
Salem,
right."
you fucked up. We're gonna make you immortal so you can never meet your husband in the afterlife.
That's fucked up. And Salem's like, "Yo, what the hell, gods? You're evil." And so she manipulates everybody in the kingdom to go attack the gods. And the gods are like, "Ayo, Salem, what the fuck? Why did you do that?" And she's like, "Hey, you made me immortal, bitch. That's your bad." And then then the god is like, "Ain't no way. That's messed up." And then they explode all of humanity, and all of humanity gets wiped out. And Salem's alone, and Salem's like, "Ayo,
Okay,
what
one
the
quick
fuck?"
thing is all of the humans in this time could do magic.
They could all do magic, yeah. And then the gods are like, "Okay, you kind of fucked up, Salem. Humans will evolve back, but you're gonna be here by yourself for a little bit. And also, none of them can do magic. We're removing all magic, and we're leaving. Remnant was funny, but you fucked it up." And then they left.
No, because it's really cool because as they leave, they destroy the moon, and that's why the moon is destroyed in this universe.
Yeah. But then we cut to Ozpin, who's in limbo, and the good god is like, "Hey, Ozpin, you're in limbo. Sorry about that." And he's like, "Bro, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey, your girlfriend is immortal. You're never gonna see her again, but we can make you. We can have you be reborn into other people every time you die. But the caveat is, if the relics, we're gonna give you these 4 relics. You can use them for good stuff, but if they all get 4 brought together, then we will come back, and also we will wipe out all of humanity.
They will
if they aren't-
judge humanity. Like if
They'll
there's
judge
racism
humanity.
is gone and everyone is working together, we'll
And
we'll
they'll
stay.
come back.
Yeah,
But if they're not, they're gonna kill everyone again for the fun of it, for the hell of it.
yeah.
So this is like Salem's why she wants the relics, because she wants to kill everyone, I think.
Yeah, I do think she wants
Okay,
to kill
because
everyone. That's why
they don't say that. They don't ever say that.
yeah. And
But
then
Ozpin is like, "Okay, I'll do that, I guess." And then Ozpin comes back and he meets his wife, and he scatters the relics, and he meets his wife, and he's like, "It's me, wife. I can reincarnate." And she's like, "I'm immortal." And they live
and they have 4 children, which
who are not the maidens. They just did that.
No, they are the maidens.
No, because they die.
No, they're the maidens.
No, because they die.
Aiden, they are the maidens.
What? Sure,
Aiden.
they make
No,
the
because it
maidens.
makes sense. Because the 2 people that have magic from the past time, do and then they make 4 children who can use magic.
Yeah,
So-
I thought they could just do magic. I thought Ozpin like gave them the maidens magic though. I guess it doesn't fucking matter
I
because he
think
lies
the 4
every time.
children are the maidens, and then they just get reincarnated because they slept with an immortal. Because it's the child of an immortal and a reincarnator. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so they have the babies, and then Ozpin is like, hey, I don't think we should be killing people. That's not a good idea. And Salem's like, no, it's okay. And also Salem is purple because she was like, hey, if I go into the Grim Juice, maybe it'll make me die. But it just made her evil.
Yeah.
So Ozpin's like, hey, I don't think we should be killing people. And then she kills him. And then he's like, oh, shit, that's not good news. We gotta keep the relics from her because now she knows. And then he goes to Jin and he's like, Jin, how can I defeat my girlfriend? And she's like, hey, bad news, bro. You can't defeat your girlfriend. And that's the lore dump. And then everyone's like, oh, we can't beat the villain?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they do
so
have a
we
caveat where it's like, I can't say anything that's going to happen. So maybe
yeah,
like
but they also say like that he asked how he could beat her, and he can't.
oh.
That's something they bring up later, actually. Is
My
like,
thought is
they said specifically Ozpin can't beat.
I think the thing is, since she dipped in the Grim Juice, she's now like part Grim, so maybe Silver Eyes can beat her.
Yeah, or at least remove the Grim from her, and then she's just a woman.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Because she was able to use
there's
Silver Eyes on
there's
Cinder, because she was part.
There's something later that I can't say because it's in Volume 7, but I kind of don't think that's it.
Okay.
Because there's something later. But yeah, we get a lore dump episode, and then that's kind of what happens in the season, and then they get to Atlas at the end.
They do get to Atlas.
But there is one other thing. While they're trying to like steal a plane to get to Atlas, Yang and Blake fight Adam, and they kill him.
They kill
and this
Adam.
is also the first real fight Yang has been in since Volume 3.
I guess, yeah.
Because I'm not really counting that fight against Mercury where she doesn't do anything. Because this is like the first time she like actually like focuses and like uses her semblance. She at least hasn't used her semblance since Volume 3.
And then Yang and Blake start dating, right?
Yeah.
I read that right.
Yeah, because they hold hands.
They do hold hands.
They hold hands.
And I did not notice like a lot of chemistry between them, but it just happened, I guess.
No, because the fan base wanted them to be.
Right.
So then they did it.
But
okay. That's what happened.
And then they get to Atlas, and then I would like to say something to Aiden quickly. Yes. Aiden, you know we're when we say like summer arc, the arc's meant to last all summer. You're not meant to watch 5 seasons of the 9-season show in 1 week.
Now, hold on.
That's not what you're meant to do. We're gonna be done with RWBY next week, Aiden.
No, because you have to realize the summer arc. No, the summer arc stops once Nicola is back,
which is only back till the beginning of August.
Yeah, the beginning of August. But we still have 3 seasons of this show, 3 seasons of the other show, a season of another show. 2 movies. We still have a lot of stuff to go through.
For me, we got 3 seasons left to talk about. We got the 2 movies, and we have Ice Queendom, which is 1 season, right?
Yeah. But there's also the Chibi episodes, which I saw like a out of context clip of, and they look really funny.
I don't really want to watch the Chibi episodes, Aiden.
Damn, bro doesn't want to watch the Chibi episode.
Guys, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this, man.
Uri, wait, Uri, before you shoot yourself, what other weapon is that gun?
I don't know, Aiden. What?
I don't know. What? It can't just be a gun.
It can't just be a gun. It needs to be something combined with a gun.
Unless you're General Ironwood, who just has a gun, or you're the mustache man. But Beck hasn't watched Volume 7.
I
watched the first episode.
The first episode of Volume 7.
Which I had him watch for 2 reasons. One, why is the one reason I made you watch it, Beck?
I am so happy right now. Penny is back, baby! Yeah!
Yeah, so Penny comes back, the robot girl. She comes back, which I never doubted in my mind that she would be dead
Yes,
forever.
she is a robot.
Because she's a robot.
But I'm just so glad she's back. She's
Oh yeah,
so
we
cool.
also forgot about, and this also kind of relates, but I forgot to say that Cinder comes. She's not dead, and she finds Neo, who the Umbrella Lady, who worked for Norman Torchwood, who's goon number 5. She's like 5th on the goon level.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's like number 2 if you're looking up goon material, but she's 5th on the goon list. But she does come back and she works with Cinder to do something to like fight RWBY because they both hate RWBY.
Everyone hates RWBY in this show.
But I want to bring this up because at the current moment, there have been 2 dead people. There have been 7 seasons and 2 character deaths only.
Okay, but Norman Torchwick isn't back.
That's the 2.
Okay, yeah.
It's Pyrrha and Norman Torchwick, and no one else has died. There's been no other consequences. Beck, I'm gonna tell you this now. They fight the Scorpion and Mustache Man, and they seem to have killed both of them, but they're not dead.
No, Ozpin died.
No, he didn't.
That one
No,
form
he
of him
didn't.
did.
No, that he's alive, Beck.
Yeah, we're talking like we never like see their character again. Yeah, only 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad they didn't permanently kill Penny.
No, because Penny's kind of chill, and she does actual cool things in Volume 7. Like, she's super important in Volume 7. They were like, wait a minute, we can bring her back and have her do stuff.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that I thought was really funny is the post-credit scene for Volume 6.
4? Oh, 6.
Volume 6 was like, you know, I'm gonna do this myself. And if we didn't have enough Wizard of Oz references, so the main villain creates an army of flying monkeys.
No way! I have like one other thing I want to talk about, but I kind of blanked on what it was. I kind of just forgot.
Do you have your notes?
No, it was something that I just thought of like 20 seconds ago and then forgot like 30 seconds ago.
Okay, that kind of sucks.
Aside from the fact that they
Pyrrha statue.
Oh yeah, that's a Volume 6 thing. So Jean, they kind of forgot about Jean, my favorite character. After he does one one emotional thing in Volume 4, they kind of don't do anything with him. He kind of is just there because he can't really do shit because he just has a sword and a shield. But in Volume 6, when they're in like his hometown or where his sister lives, I mean, that's where Pyrrha grew up and trained. And he finds a statue of Pyrrha, his friend that is dead. And he stands in front of the statue and he talks to Pyrrha's mom, and they have a very good and emotional.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Awesome.
Anytime it's like Jean talking about Pyrrha, it's always really sweet. Like really it's like the one time that a character can actually mourn someone's death because everyone just comes back to life.
Yeah, which is good that they give him an actual character thing to do. Because they keep forgetting to do that because they don't know how to write things.
Yes. Aiden, one question I'm not sure if you know or not. Does RWBY have like an actual conclusion?
I don't think it does right now.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely like okay, well, looking at what is there of season 9, this looks okay, well there's Jean with a beard. That's what you were talking about one time. It looks like they go to Alice in Wonderland. So I feel like they beat Salem in the next season, is my bet.
I doubt that.
Guys, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure, what's your question?
Okay. My question is, why do you continue watching this show? Because just based off listening to this for an hour, I'm sorry, God. Anyone who's watched this an hour, you're a trooper. You are a trooper. For anyone who's watched this,
Hey, you
I'm
wanted
saying-
to lead with RWBY.
But that- I think it- I-
you'd
it was-
regret that.
No, I still accept it because now now I know how much I need to level out for my spacing when we talk about things. So it's not instead of like going too overboard.
Okay.
But
One thing I do want to say, Uri, to your point, is we may be talking about what we didn't like for an hour, but I love this show. Like,
This show's really
legitimately, when I
actually
hear
good.
that intro play,
Really?
I get so hyped. Like, I'm like, this is what TV shows are made for.
The show is actually good.
The show-
Despite its
I-
rough around the
I
edges
enjoyed this show.
animation, despite its rough animation and its bad writing and its sometimes over the top line delivery, it is a very enjoyable show to.
It is very enjoyable. This
The
is
character
this is the
designs
most
are
I've enjoyed
quite
the show
cool.
for a while.
do the highs of the show really out defeat the lows though?
The lows aren't
More
like low.
it has the vibe that of like I like watching the show. Like it has like characters I like watching. It has a really cool style. It has cool ideas. It has cool fights. Even if like,
I'll say, like,
stuff that
what-
is happening isn't the best, it's like still enjoyable to watch.
Like the lows are more like, why does they do this for plot reasons over like, oh, this is bad. Like still when watching like the boring stuff, you're like, okay, it's the boring stuff, but then the cool stuff happens in a
Yeah.
little bit. Even if it's not very important, it's still like stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
But it's
mean,
it's good.
I guess I'm kind of coming from it from like I guess maybe a Game of Thrones angle where the really good stuff was really good and the bad stuff is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I
But,
would never
There's
say-
there's nothing unfortunate yet.
Yeah, the bad
No.
stuff never feels bad. It just kind of feels like, wow, that's kind of stupid. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
bad. Like I wasn't
It's not
screaming at
like
my
it's not
screen
like
saying
you've
that was
ruined
bad.
my characters.
Yeah.
It's not like you've ruined my characters
It's
in
more
my
like
show.
you just made the world building more confusing, but that's fine.
Yeah.
do we know if it has an unfortunate ending
Well,
or
Well,
any-
what I was saying about that was like I don't know because the company that made it got shut down. Oh,
This
we have to
year.
talk about. We have to talk. So you know how
Yeah,
I'm saying
so-
God wanted to stop the RWBY arc. God stopped the RWBY arc a second time.
God intervened. God said, "Hey, Jesus, we need you to go down there and pull it from Internet Archive." And now we're pirating it.
Yes. So we paid for Crunchyroll to watch this. It got
Wait,
removed from Crunchyroll. We found
Yeah.
a free online archive of it. And then
Which
it
is
shut
just the Internet
down.
Archive.
So now we literally have to pirate it to watch it. There's
Yeah.
is
no
the pirating
other way to
quality
watch the
good or
show.
not?
So I'm watching, or I finished volume 7 on YouTube with Spanish subtitles. So that's how I'm running it, and it's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let me see if I
Okay.
can find volume 8 on YouTube so I can.
Wait, and you took Spanish class.
No, it's in English. It just has
It
Spanish.
just has like text at the bottom, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I can. Okay, there's a guy reacting to all the episodes. Beck, I might need the piracy website from you again so I can.
I will. It has
Well,
Well,
season
this isn't
8.
becoming a fucking. This isn't going to become a RWBY watch along episode. So last thoughts on RWBY before we move on.
I'm excited for the next 3 seasons. I believe I will try to get through the last 3 seasons so we can finish the entire show next week.
Yeah.
But Aiden is somehow a beast at watching RWBY. That he just has no social life. He has no friends. He has no other stuff he wants to watch. His whole life is just committed to watching RWBY.
It's the summer arc, baby.
It's hard to catch up to him, but I believe we will both have Volume 9 finished by next episode.
And I promise that
What
I
is
will
this?
promise that Ice Queendom and will come a week after we finish the show, and the DC movies will come. They'll be segmented. Do not
Cool.
worry.
Yes, that's good. Let's do
What a
that.
fucking diss, Aiden. You're gonna do like a diss track on Beck for that diss he had? Like no social life?
That's
No.
crazy.
His social life is watching movies.
Yeah.
Wow. If only we watched the
Transition?
movies with people.
Whoa, I love watching movies with people when they're good,
If only
but when
there
they're
was some
bad, what
other big
happens?
event that happened this week that we still need to talk about.
Uh-oh, guys, did we go see some Despicable
We'll end with
Horizon?
that, right?
Oh, we're ending with
Maybe
Despicable
we'll end with
Horizon?
that. We're gonna do singles now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Uri,
I guess
please
I'll
talk.
talk.
Uri, please talk.
Just like my own stuff,
Yes,
I guess.
Yeah,
the
real
stuff
quick.
you watched only by yourself.
Okay, I watched for the first time ever on the plane before I left here. I watched the Silver Linings Playbook.
Wow.
And it's a pretty good movie. You know, it's like kind of it's like a love story, but like kind of like in a kind of an alternative way because like it kind of follows like two bipolar people, and we see kind of how they're kind of like. Because at first they don't really like each other, but it's only at the end that they really kind of fall in love and realize they were always kind of like meant for each other. Because the main character, a guy played by Bradley Cooper, he's sentenced to like to be in like in I guess in a psychiatric hospital after he like beat up the guy his wife was having an affair with, and so he was trying to get her back the entire movie. Then he realized he was in love with the person he was doing a dance like lessons with, like or not dance lessons, planning to do a dance competition with, and she was played by Jennifer
Was it some
Lawrence.
kind of Damarama?
Ah,
It was
that's
not a
Damarama,
Damarama.
Classic. We all love
So it was
Damaramas here.
It's a pretty good movie, you know. It's a bit rough around the edges and rough around its edges in terms of like character and plot, but it was like pretty good. I would say the same thing for my next movie that I watched, which was Sound of Metal, which I've always heard a lot about. It won like the Oscar for best editing, and it's about a guy, a drummer who starts to lose his hearing. And something that's really cool about this movie is that you get to see the movie from his perspective, you know?
Some kind of deaf drummer.
Beck,
Interesting.
I'm gonna fucking like
These just come to me. I have to make them, okay? My
Has to
body
make
won't
them.
let me not make them. Or
His body won't let him not make
Ian,
them.
Beck, why don't you fucking listen to what I'm saying?
I
No,
am.
it's
I need to make these references, Uri.
I'm kicking you out. But no, it's like it was really impactful because like you get to see how scary it is to lose your hearing in that movie because you get to see like basically how he hears, and it's like when he gets like a cochlear implant, we hear how his audio that he hears gets distorted. It's kind of like terrifying in a way. And there's like a whole portion of the movie where he's going to be with like a deaf community, and that section is entirely silent, which was really cool. Yeah. And so those are two pretty good movies. I think I like the Silver Linings Playbook a bit more, but yeah, it gets to that type of thing where I think I'm getting really tired. I don't have the ability to watch movies on planes anymore. I think.
Oh yeah. I remember
I'm getting too old for that.
I woke up early one time to take a flight, and I was like trying to watch a movie. I was trying to watch The Incredibles, and I enjoy The Incredibles, but I could not watch it because I was just so tired and the plane was so annoying. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. It's like
yeah, it
hard
might
to
be
watch.
one of the worst environments to watch a movie on because like there's so much noise on the plane and like you're hearing like your ears are kind of plugged up from the
Yeah,
altitude
it's like
and
the
like
seat's uncomfortable. So annoying.
yeah, and then you just gotta kind of like focus on the movie, but you can't. So I can only listen to like music on planes now,
Yeah.
basically. But so that's what a few movies that I've watched. I'm watching the show. It's made by the same guy who made Yellowstone, but it's far better than Yellowstone, I think.
If only there was some other
Because,
guy from Yellowstone that made something. I guess we'll get to
That's
it later.
Yeah, it's called The Mayor of Kingstown, which essentially it's like it focuses on like a town whose main like thing is like having prisons in their town, and like a lot. There's a guy who was played by Jeremy Renner, and
If only there was a way to know what Jeremy Renner was doing at all times of the day.
yeah. Aiden, that app was deleted. So
I know.
sorry.
There was an
Hey, Beck, good
that
news.
tracked
Good news,
Jeremy
Beck.
Renner?
I found it all on internet.
Anyway, but there's like the main thing about this town is like it's about prisons and like he makes like he plays like a fixer type of character who like tries to like try to create a balance between the towns, like the crime in the streets and the crime in like the prisons, and try to like organize that peace with the gangs and all that stuff. So we follow his like character as he tries to create this balance, and sometimes it goes really bad. And there's like shootings and drugs and violence. If you like crime dramas, it's a pretty good show for that. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, so those are kind of the big things I've been watching. I'm rewatching a few episodes of King of the Hill every now and then. You know, as like whenever I need to do something, I'll put that on like, the background. I love a good background show. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, Beck. Do you have any background shows or Aiden?
Background shows?
Good background.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really put on shows in the background of anything because then I just start to watch the show.
For me,
Really?
I just have to do music.
I find anime is really good for that because a lot of the time it'll just be the characters explaining what's happening in audio.
I'm
able to watch that for anime.
I can't do that because I have to read what they're saying.
Okay, yeah, because you watch it subbed, I watch it dubbed.
Yeah, and but one thing I like what I use for homework and stuff is like theme park audio tracks or the same loop of sound over and over again. Like I listened to 10 hours of dancing, walking, rearranging furniture, studying too. That was some really good study music actually.
I feel like I can't do music because like I don't know, I feel like I get too distracted by the music, but for a lot of TV I can like do.
Well, that's why I have to do the loop of the same thing because then it just becomes like background noise and you forget about it until it pauses and you're like, oh.
Like what is this face you're making? You were like
I don't know. It's crazy to me how you can't tune out music, but you can tune out a TV show. Like, I don't know. I can tune out music so easily, but I can't like tune out like a TV show.
But can you tune out a fish?
No.
Oh
wow.
Beck just sent something in general that kind of threw me off guard. He put out a skit idea. Apple Video Effects acted at the wrong
Because
time.
I'm thinking like it's a funeral, and they're like, I'm so sad that this great man died of a fireworks accident. Everyone do a double thumbs up to celebrate him.
Rest in peace.
Like a Zoom funeral?
Yeah, like it was like a funeral. Why is not? Oh, I think I turned it off. Shit.
Oh my god.
But I think that'd be kind of funny.
I bring this up to mention because I kind of want to talk about our channel for a second and how we are making Don't Pee. And Beck, you've played the game recently.
I have played the game Don't Pee.
And now, what did you think of the game Don't Pee?
I believe we can make an adaptation of it. A good adaptation, not sure. An adaptation, yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
It does seem like it's kind of hard, especially I think our CGI budget is going to be through the roof with that final segment.
Hey Beck,
Really fun.
you are the After Effects god, so you can do this.
You don't have enough money to pay me to do that.
Nah, you'll get it after you get you trade your CS:GO knife or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna gamble the CS:GO knife and then buy a NASA PC, and I got it.
But yeah, Beck, we're gonna make a good adaptation.
We are.
So that's
just
that's one update on Don't Pee.
Yeah.
And we're still doing our skits. There are probably going to be more that are going to come.
We did
later.
film 4 skits that day. We've only released 1.
Yeah, actually 2. Nature Valley.
Oh yes, Nature Valley.
I've tried editing the other ones, but the problem is every shot, our arms are in different locations, so they don't actually fit well together.
That's funny.
Yeah. But, pretty exciting. We had a pretty good, reaction to our, what was it? Our, when you neither you're talking about the same movie or something like that. And,
The fan cam has officially been dethroned as our most
Very
viewed
sad.
video.
Very
The
sad.
end of era, some would say.
I'm gonna go bot the views if that's okay with you guys.
Yes, if you're willing to pay money to bot V fan cam, that's funny.
All right.
It did get like double V fan cam in like a week. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And it has a lot of comments. Thanks for commenting.
Yeah, we got a good reception from it.
We got a great comment that this duo has great potential.
It does. Imagine if they did a podcast together. That'd be crazy.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine if they talked about RWBY.
No.
I bet if this person watched the episode, she'd be like, I'm unsubscribing. This duo does not have
subscribers the moment we put out another video. They're like, wait, these guys aren't just a comedy sketch now. They release 3-hour podcast videos.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. I feel like when I subscribe to someone, I see what videos they have, and then I subscribe to them. I don't know how they fell for that blunder.
Yeah. Okay. But Beck, do you have any individual things
I do have individual things.
Nice. What are they?
You guys know what my second favorite movie of the year is. Right?
It's Whiplash.
Inside Out 2?
It's Horizon.
2. Guess who saw it a third time?
We can't talk about Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2 starts. They're at a hockey game.
And
they reintroduced us.
If you're bringing this up, we might as well bring up that. What do you give it? 4.5?
Yes, right? 4.5.
Who fucking high?
We just had this conversation again. We had this conversation again.
Deja vu right now.
We've had this conversation again. Please stop.
Good movie. You know what I loved a lot about it? How different it was from the original.
No, this is just the same conversation from 2 weeks ago.
Sequel.
This is the same thing.
And Beck, you're a motherfucker who wanted to watch it a fourth time, but your friends were like, no.
I might try to see it a fourth time. I don't know.
Why?
Tomorrow,
Beck, what about this movie do you
free?
Beck, what about this movie do you like so much?
No, we cannot talk about this movie again. Beck, what else have you watched?
Okay. Relating to the conversation that started this episode, my friend is a really big fan of this movie called In the Heights. Yeah. And he was like...
He also gave Inside Out 2 5 stars.
Yeah. And when we were going into the summer, he was like, hey... I'm like, I had this summer watch. He's like, oh, I'm going to add 2 movies. He added Migration and In the Heights. So
Migration.
I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, and then I realized now is as good as a time as any. So I started In the Heights, and it was a good movie.
You were blown away by the choreography and music. It is amazing to watch creative ideas come together. No periods at all.
Guys, who needs grammar and punctuation? I feel like it's just too much extra stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But Aiden literally just did say everything I wanted to say about the movie, where it's like, it has good music, it has really cool cinematography and choreography, where it's like they'll have like 80 people all like doing synchronized dancing in a pool. It'll look really cool. They have really cool shots. Like there's this one time where it's like here, and it's like they're standing on an apartment fire escape, and then all of a sudden, with no cuts, they're like walking on the side of the building. And I thought that was an insanely cool effect and a really cool scene. It has like...
How are the songs?
What?
How are the
The songs are good, yeah. I have added a lot of them to my Spotify. It's from Lin-Manuel Miranda, the guy that did Hamilton, and you can really feel the Hamilton inspiration with the songs. Yeah, overall, it just felt like a good movie, good music, good musical. Yeah, and those are the two things I watched by myself.
Nice. I also have two things that I watched by myself.
If it was the end of one show and we could see what the epic conclusion was.
Yeah, if only. So one of them was Craig of the Creek, at least the end of the Sleepover Chronicles. So Craig and all of his friends from the other episodes of the Sleepover Chronicles and also Space Cadet go and sleep over at the Tea Timers Elizabeth's house or whatever her name is. I don't really care. And they do things there, and then they have fun. What really bugs me is that Space Cadet is Sparkle Cadet is in this episode, which implies that there is a Sparkle Cadet episode where Craig stays at her house, and she's a cool
Ooh.
character, and she wasn't in the original show very much, even though she was pretty fun. So that kind of sucks.
That's sad.
To not have that episode.
Kind of
because
reminds
every
me of
other
like,
character-
do you remember in like What If when they randomly had like Gamora from an episode we never saw show up?
Yeah, if it was like that. Well, that came in season 2, so I mean, it like
Okay, yeah,
kind
but
of
like
happened.
it's like
Yeah, I
out
don't
of
know.
order. Well, maybe in the next 4 they'll just randomly have that episode.
Probably not. That would be very weird if they did. But they had then the other episode of Super episode, My Adventures with Superman. So Kara finds Jimmy and Lois, and she's like, "Oh, we gotta go. Something bad's happening," and Clark is getting brainwashed by Brainiac, and Brainiac's like,
No.
Clark, we must find your
Clark?
weakness. Or no, yeah, he says, Kal-El, we must find your weakness. Oh, you don't have any physical weaknesses, but you don't like it when Lois doesn't like you. Ah, what a good weakness you have there. And Kara and Jimmy and Lois break into Brainiac's place, and they're like, Brainiac, and Kara's like, Brainiac, why are you so evil? And he's like, don't worry, Kara, this will help Krypton. And then he takes over Clark's body, and Brainiac becomes Superman, and then he beats the shit out of Kara, and then that basically is what happened. And Clark is trapped in his own mind in a fictional world where he still lives with his original Krypton parents.
Damn.
And then Lois at the end of the episode is like, I gotta go save Superman, and puts on the mind thing and also goes into the brain place.
And Becky, you did not watch a few minutes of this episode?
I did not watch a few minutes of this episode.
No. Yeah.
Is this really not the finale?
No, there's 2 more episodes.
Oh, I thought this was the finale.
No, there's 2 more episodes.
My bad.
Yeah, is that why you said if only one of them was ending?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't.
So what are your overall thoughts on this whole new season of Superman?
I think this season's a little better. I don't know. I feel like season 1 was still a lot of setup. Like they had to introduce all of the villains, but then in this season they keep using the villains, but they're already set up. And Superman already has his powers in this one, and
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just slow, but now like things happen.
Okay.
I don't know. It's good. It's still a good show. I think it is better than I think season 1.
Yeah. I mean, there's like many ways you can take Superman as a character, but this seems to be more of like a hopeful probably Superman than like other.
But what if
versions.
they
I mean,
made Superman?
They already
But
kind of
evil.
that was what was in season 1 when like the army of Loises from the multiverse was like, hey, Superman is evil in like 90. Like, not this one, guys. We can keep this one. So they do have like a whole thing about Superman being evil.
Yeah. If only there was an evil Superman type of character.
Yeah.
If only.
And like
Hey
a
guys,
show.
who got raped this time?
The Boys. We gotta talk about 2 episodes because Uri wasn't here.
Let's talk about The Boys.
Yeah.
So Episode 6 might be the more hero-gasm-y episode than the actual hero-gasm episode, you know?
Huey gets raped for like 40 minutes.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. That
Yeah.
sucks. Why is this in television?
Because
This
it's
is
on
this is
streaming,
your
and they're
guy.
like, guys, how do we make something crazy enough happen that people will like talk about it?
This is your god. This is what you got. This people getting raped for 40 minutes.
Well, you know, technically it was consensual because Huey did, like, he was pretending to be someone else, I guess, and
Okay.
that guy consented. But,
What the?
so let's talk about it. I'll do a brief plot synopsis, I guess. No, RWBY 1 hour. But, so quickly, this episode where we follow, it basically takes place at one location this whole episode, and, there's Tech Knight from Gen V. You know, he appeared in episode 5 for a little bit, but he's having like a little party at his like big mansion. And Tech Knight's essentially, you know, a Batman type of character, and so he has like kind of the Batman tropes. He has a butler, and they do this thing where it's like his family used to be a slave owning family, and he says to like A-Train, one of the black characters, he said, you know,
You would have
probably
caught
would
you.
have given up. We probably would have caught you. You would have get a run for your money. He's like being playful with it, you know. But he's like, it turns out like, yeah, I guess we don't know. But essentially, so Homelander and like the 7, like Firecracker and Sage, they all like they're at this party, kind of trying to smooth other like the rich politicians so they could get them on their side, because Sage and Homelander have this really big plan where they're gonna plan to take over the U.S. government in a very non-Trump-like way, you know?
Assassinating the president and getting the vice president to take over.
And Victoria Newman, she's also there. But you think like, why would she be there? Because she's like she works for the Bob Singer. But this episode, you know, they kind of bring Victoria onto their side, and when Homelander is like, when Sage becomes kind of incapacitated to say like their big plans in front of all the other politicians, Victoria Newman kind of steps up and tells the plan about like, we're gonna run this country. And essentially why they're at Tech Knights is that they have a plan with Tech Knight that they're gonna use all of Tech Knight's privatized prisons, his family's privatized prisons, to make internment camps of humans all across the country.
Yeah.
So that's their big plan. And the boys, on the other hand, you know, Starlight, Huey, Kimiko, you know, they're planning to like infiltrate this Tech Knight gathering, you know. Butcher on the other side, you know, he's trying to last episode he kidnapped Victoria Newman's husband, and he's like a scientist, and he wants him to make more of the virus, but he's saying, no, I can't make this virus because, you know, if this won't just kill Homelander, it will kill every soup. If it kills enough to strong to kill Homelander, it'll be contagious to every soup on Earth.
And it'll kill
And
every superhero.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there are like 3 superheroes that we like that we don't want to die.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Why is that a bad thing?
Because there are because it would kill his wife's son.
His wife's son, Starlight, Kimiko, you know.
Yeah.
Isn't
those
Starlight
people
rapist?
from Gen V.
What?
No, is that someone else?
No.
Starlight's not a rapist, Aiden.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, there's a lot of characters. I was just kind of throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Well, you failed, so go in the corner.
Okay.
And then
Sorry. Firecracker is like, Homelander,
Wait.
I'll do whatever you want.
Beck, shut the fuck
Okay.
up. And so they're planning to infiltrate the gathering, but how are they going to get in? So they go to Webweaver, who's like basically he was mentioned earlier in the season. He's basically this version of Spider-Man, but it's like a gross version of Spider-Man where it's like he has webbing out of like his back, and it's like really gross. That was a gross scene.
You know, I feel like you could easily tell that Huey was faking it because he didn't have the hole in the back of his costume, right?
was over the costume, right?
There's like a
I don't know.
hole in the costume that he could shoot the webs out of.
Yeah, but essentially, Web Weaver is like a type of guy they provide him with heroin, and he gives them like info,
Yeah.
and so he's kind of like a CI type of character, where it's like, but they steal his costume, and then they go to his party, and Huey goes undercover, and then he meets Tech-9, and Tech-9's like, I'm so glad you came, because then they go down to like this sex dungeon where it's like, it turns out Web Weaver is some sort of like, I guess, some sort of sexual deviant, and he had this thing with Tech-9, I guess. And so there's this really gross scene where Huey takes his pants down and puts his ass on like a cake.
Yeah.
And that was like really gross. And then Ashley comes down and she does some sexual things. It's like that part of the episode was like really gross, and it was crazy.
It was unnecessary.
I'm gonna say it was definitely unnecessary. Like there was no point for this, but I guess it was fun. I guess it was like it was just basically doing all the time like the boys kind of trope where it's kind of getting tired. Like what is this with the superhero? But it was sexually deviant.
Yeah. It felt way too
so
edgy.
it wasn't. Yeah, it was like we did not need this, but it was kind of interesting. But because I quite like Tech-9 as like a character. I found it pretty fun, but I feel like this was way too much. You know. And it turns out he has like his kind of Robin character. He gagged him up and put him like a corner, like he was like the guy from Pulp Fiction or something.
The Gimp, yes.
And so that's Huey's plot for the whole episode, because he's pretending like he's really good because after his father died, he's struggling, but he's not gonna say it. And but yeah, but eventually Tech-9 finds out that Huey is undercover, and he's gonna be like, when Homelander comes down here, he's gonna kill you. But then Kimiko and Starlight, they come down and save Huey before he gets.
There is one really cool scene I liked where it was like Kimiko dropped her phone and she didn't have a way to communicate to anyone that didn't know sign language, but they were in a library. So she kept just grabbing books to try to point at the words to communicate. I thought that was pretty cool.
I felt like that was a bit too convenient because at one point, MM gets knocked out, and then A-Train comes and he doesn't want to save him, but then he finds a book that says "for the sake of his daughter."
Yeah.
And that was insanely convenient. There's a book like that.
Yeah.
But because after because they're about to get found out if they don't get caught, and MM was knocked out, and so A-Train finally he saves him after convincing him from Kimiko, and then he puts him on he rushes out and puts him on a gurney from an ambulance, and then there's a little kid who looks up at him and smiles and this is the moment that I think really seals in the whole A-Train arc where he finally becomes a hero just for the sake of being a hero, which is really good. And this is his kind of completing his arc. He finally becomes a good guy, and they manage to save Huey before he gets killed or anything, and they tie up Tech-9, and they find out the plans for what Homelander and Sage are doing. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned this because why Sage was incapacitated while Homelander was going to give the big speech was that they confronted Sage and MM shot her in the head. But the thing is, we established this earlier in the season that anywhere else she dies if you shoot her in the body, but because she has a super smart brain, that her brain's going to regenerate, but she's just going to be dumb for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a cool thing, I thought. But and this really, because she so carelessly got her brains blown out, Homelander was all he looked down on her for this, and kind of this puts her on his back pedestal, he doesn't really care for her. And this gives Firecracker the chance to really, get kiss up to Homelander. Because at the end of this episode, Firecracker does this thing where it's I'll do anything for you. It's he squirts milk at Homelander's face, and he's like, but you're not pregnant. And she says I took a bunch of pills that give myself breast milk. And then the last scene of him in the episode is him being breastfed by Firecracker, and it is a bit much, but it makes sense for the
It
character
does
of
make
Homelander, where-
sense for both.
because
them.
like he because she's gonna do anything to kiss up to Homelander, and Homelander's always had like mother issues, and he's had a milk thing this whole show, and so it kind of works for his character. But now we get to see a new kind of dynamic between them that's sort of more explored in the next episode. And at the end of this episode, the most obvious thing that you thought was happening, it happened. Where it's all like, Butcher and Kessler, the guy he's like working with to kidnap Victoria Newman's husband, he's like, they tell him that, this virus will kill every soup. And like Kessler's all like, yes, that's fine. You want this. Butcher, this needs to happen. And then he says, I can't do this. But then it's like revealed, dude, I'm just in your fucking head,
I know. I
And
like
then-
the way they did it because it was like he sees Becca and he knows Becca's dead, but then Kessler responds to Becca being like, shut up. And then he realizes, oh, they're both in my mind. I thought that was a really cool way to do it, even if it was really obvious.
And I mean, I think it's pretty. It's kind of, it made sense. It was pretty obvious, but I thought it's pretty interesting that happens because he has like kind of an angel and devil dynamic with Becca and Kessler, where it's like people from his past, and like she's the good side of him, and he's like the side that really tries to make him worse.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna really see how that wrestles between him in the next episode and probably the last episode of the season.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting dynamic, and I would say better than episode 5, I thought. But this was like other than the really probably unnecessary part of Huey, he was like we didn't really need. It was a pretty interesting episode, and what's interesting is that Tech Knight earlier in the episode, he gets killed by his own butler, which I found was pretty funny. Where it's like Alfred always would protect Batman, but Tech Knight is not like I raised his kid since he was like a child, and like I found he's become a monster, and so he like chokes him with like a rope type of thing.
Yeah, just strangles him to death.
And Huey, before this episode ends, he he admits that he's not doing well after the death of his dad, and so we get that. And Beck, you want to do episode 7?
Yeah, so episode 7 is so Butcher goes to the group and is like, we have this virus, but it'll cause a genocide, so Frenchie, you go help the guy, and we will go.
Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention, that he was in prison for episode 6 and he wouldn't see Kimiko.
Yeah.
But this episode, Butcher got him out of prison, and like him and Kimiko are kind of like they're gonna work with like the scientist guy to help him with the virus.
Yeah. So they go do that, and Butcher's like, the rest of us, we need to go stop the plan to kill the president. So they go to the lab of the shooter that Sage hired. They go, and it's like, oh, they find this.
You mean the apartment?
Oh, what?
He said the lab.
Oh.
He said the lab of the shooter.
Oh, the apartment of the shooter. They go to the apartment of the shooter.
He's like a shapeshifter.
Yeah, and the shooter is a shapeshifter, and we're like, ooh, that's really bad, because now they don't know who's trying to kill the president. And then Huey gets stabbed in the hand, and so he goes like, I'm gonna go to the hospital. He doesn't go to the hospital. He goes to talk to Victoria Newman and be like, please don't do this, because if you do this, it's gonna be really bad. And then Victoria Newman's like, I'm still gonna do it.
And I kind of saw that as like, that was like the last kind of barrier between her and becoming this monster fully.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of sad because they had such a tight relationship. Now it's kind of being destroyed. And so this is like the last before her choosing becoming a monster. It's either that, or she does decide to become a good person in the last episode.
Yeah.
So I see that either being the two options.
And then Butcher and Starlight, they go back to their main lab, but the Deep is there. And early in the episode, the Deep killed his octopus girlfriend, so he's feeling really bad. But then, like, Homer was like, can you kill Billy Butcher? And he's like, you know what? I will. So they go, and they try to kill Billy Butcher.
Him and Noir.
Yeah, and Noir.
And
then they try to fight them, and they're losing because it's it's two soups against like Starlight and two normal people. But then A-Train shows up and he's like, I was the leak the whole time.
He's like, I fucking hated you, Deep.
Yeah.
You suck.
And then Deep and Noir both get
There's this really funny moment where it's like, because they don't know Noir is dead and they see Noir flying, it's like, what the fuck? And they also hear him talking. It's like, I found that really
yeah,
funny.
and the fact when he goes to sleep, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's narcoleptic, and then,
yeah. But
And,
then now A-Train is revealed as the leak, and Homelander's like, fuck, another person has betrayed me. This is not good.
Wait, I also want to mention earlier in the episode, MM was because like he was like, you know what, Butcher, you take control of the team, and it was like he reunited with his family, and he was planning to go, but then he had like a talk with A-Train, was like, you know, I'm done with this shit. My dad did it, and my grandpa did it, and my father did it. I'm done with it. And but then A-Train's all like, you know, you helped me become a good person, so how is it going to help the world if you know you go to Belize? Homelander and Vought can't come to Belize. They're going to ruin like the whole world if you don't come help us. And then during the fight, as Noir is kind of flying, MM stops Noir by shooting him a bunch of times and like manages to incapacitate him. And so he's like rejoining the team now.
Yeah.
And I saw this fight as kind of like A-Train's like full initiation into becoming one of the boys.
Yeah.
You know?
Although he does like say,
Right.
yeah, I'm dipping now. So he probably will come back in the finale.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll
And,
see much of him again.
We're seeing another kind of thing with sort of a redemption with Ashley too,
Oh yeah.
where it's like because they both know they're kind of in trouble, and so he goes to Ashley, and they're like he said earlier in the episode that Ashley and A-Train talking like, come on, we can just like go together, and she's like to him, we can just go to Florence or something, because she said that's where she went when she went a student abroad, and he said let's leave together, you know, and it's like A-Train can't do it, but then he comes back to her and he's like, come on, let's go. And she's about to, but she's like, I can't, you know? And so I guess she's more deciding to be helpful, like still being on the Vought team, but she's still really afraid of leaving because she's so kind of used to being there.
Yeah.
Because she recognizes how easy it is to become a monster at Vought, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're seeing that sort of also kind of parallel redemption arc with Ashley, because you know Ashley's kind of been like portrayed as like more of a kind of villainous kind of character in the earlier seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing
she's more like neutral.
We're seeing how much, yeah. But now we're seeing like the more like redemptive side of her, which is kind of an interesting idea, you know. And so also Butcher is still struggling with Joe Kessler as like a guy who's keep trying to make him like
he keeps wanting him to commit
like
genocide.
And yeah. What else happened in this episode?
They develop the virus enough to kill Victoria Newman, but not Homelander. And then the next one is probably going to be them trying to prevent the assassination to stop Victoria Newman from becoming president.
Yeah, because earlier in the episode, like he managed it, they make the virus, but then he like stabs into Kamiko, and so Frenchie cuts her leg off before it can kill her.
Yeah.
And so Frenchie's probably going to get the virus from the leg.
Yeah.
And so that's their goal, you know, for like next episode probably. And so that's kind of where we see things left off. Sage also, now that she fucked up last episode, Homelander's like, fuck it, you're out. And now Firecracker is more in control. But they do this thing where it's all like, you know, throughout the entire show, Beck and Aiden, Homelander's really had this kind of sort of power dynamic with kind of elderly, I guess, female figures. You know, he had Madeline Stillwell in season 1, where it's all like she sort of controlled him. Season 2 was Stormfront, where it's all like she helped him like more realize himself fully, and she was still kind of controlling him, but we don't really see, but she doesn't, but she gets kicked out at the end of season 2 as well, and he also kills Madeline still at the end of season 1, so it's all about him kind of like confronting these like sort of female figures throughout this entire show, and it's like relating to his own mother issues since he didn't have a mother growing up, and so that's why he is partly so like I guess prone to the sort of the motherly nature of it all, like breastfeeding, all that stuff. And so, but what's interesting about the firecracker relationship is that he's the one controlling this relationship, really, because like we see how during like an interrogation with Webweaver, because they're trying to find the leak, he comes to them and it's all like, he keeps, there's a really funny scene where he keeps like squirting the web fluid out of his back because like he's nervous, and he's like, and Homelander's, what the fuck, and so he just kind of rips Webweaver's arm off, and the blood splatters onto Firecracker's face, and she's like, it's probably the first time she's seen any like sort of murder or like death that brutal, and this kind of scares her, and so it kind of shows that she does not understand what she's getting into with Homelander, because he's crazy, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Sage also had a good thing where she was like, Homelander was like, A-Train was leaked. He's like, yeah, I knew he was an intentional leak, so I could make sure that that the boys knew some info. And Homelander was like, okay, no, you still lied to me. But it was like, Sage, even if like she was the one in control the entire time, like she knew A-Train was the leak still, so it did really give her a lot of credence into like the fact that she is like the smartest character we've met. Like she had this whole plan figured out.
And Homelander kicking Sage out is sort of the ultimate confirmation of him. As much as he wants people smarter than him, he doesn't actually want people smarter than him. And he's just gonna fucking kick them out for people like Firecracker and people like that who will just kind of bend to him,
Yep.
And we see that kind of idea of accepting, like just accepting like who you are and just listening to other people with Ryan, because Ryan in this episode, he doesn't do much, but what he does do is impactful for his character, because I'm gonna say every episode of this season so far, we've kind of seen what possible character can Ryan be,
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're exploring who his person will really become by showing him different possibilities, because the show is probably not going to last too long enough for Ryan to become like a really like adult person, so we only will probably get to see like the glimpses of who he'll become. Last episode was more of a dark version of who he'll become when he not last episode, like episode I think 5, maybe
Yeah,
6.
so
I
the
think
one
it
where
was
he was like
6.
slapping when he like told the woman to slap the producer.
The director,
Yeah.
the producer guy. It's like that's like the dark version of how he could become a bad guy. This episode where it's all like he's starring in like a Vought like Christmas show, because it's a Christmas episode. This episode, actually, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
And he does this thing where it's like the puppet, like there's like Muppets, and like they're of like the 7, and so like they're singing like a song about how you should report on your parents and your family and all that stuff, kind of like very Trump kind of like focused things or something like that. And he's like, at the end of the episode, he confronts the camera and like the people watching at home, and so like, don't do this, just like you don't need to be this like evil and stuff like that, like he just kind of like he talks about how his mom was like such a kind woman, and like he kind of how he misses her.
Yeah, one
And
one other thing we forgot to mention in the episode is it ends with Huey and Starlight, and they're like, "Wow, cool, they have sex," and then we find
in
out
the costume,
because like the whole thing was like Starlight really does not like the costume, but she gets the costume out of the trash. They have sex in the costume. And then we're like, oh, Starlight was a shapeshifter at that time. So the real Starlight is like being held, while the shapeshifter just stole all the files they had on Newman. So when
they're saying that pretty big.
Yeah.
And it was interesting about this shapeshifter. It's not like a regular shapeshifter. It seems like they can take on the memories also of the. Because they referred to an earlier conversation, and she knew the code to the safe.
The best kind of shapeshifter.
It seems like they can also take some of the memories as well, which is interesting. Because earlier in the episode, she was like, she was taking a photo with like a fan, and that fan turned out to be the shapeshifter. Where did Beck go?
I don't know. I have no part of the conversation.
Guess who's
I
back?
have nothing to input.
It's me.
Eminem. Slim
I
Shady.
had to
How did you
take
go?
pain medicine. Don't worry, I'm ready.
And so as earlier I was talking about like Ryan, like so we're seeing this more of a positive version of him, but it really kind of tosses up what type of person Ryan will be, and I found that it's because he really has the potential to do anything, and he's like the only one power enough to take Homelander down if he in the
Yeah.
future. But so we're seeing all this kind of really ramp up for ultimately what I think is probably going to be a very interesting finale. So before we move on from the boys, I want to talk about Beck. What are your overall thoughts of the season before we head into this final episode? Your predictions for next season or next episode in the next season, and how you want it.
It's getting pretty repetitive. I just
Yeah,
felt
because
that
like
with
during this arc of every season, where it's like things like they do interesting things in like the first couple of episodes, it ramps up to like a pretty exciting episode 7 that has like a big things happening, and then there's like a big battle in the last episode, and then it kind of just restarts.
it just feels like every character goes through like the same struggle, or at least I feel like it's like Huey, everyone's telling him like don't trust Butcher, and then he just has that entire thing for all 4 seasons, and then MM is like, you got to care about your daughter, and he has that same thing for like 4 seasons. And then Frenchie is like, I feel guilty for my crimes. He's like says that for 4 seasons. It just feels like
He does.
they like are like, we can't resolve their arcs, so we don't know how many seasons we have. So we just have to keep using the same plot points that we have on these characters.
I'm going to say the saving grace of this show is that it does manage to say some pretty like it does like kind of just reuse things of like in news in the show, but it's like it has a pretty strong social commentary. I'm going to say pretty strong in that aspect. The characters, there's a few interesting characters along the show, and our core cast is pretty interesting. I do think the show has kind of an inability to let go of some characters and some character arcs where it's like, I really thought after like Starlight threw the thing on his face that, wait, is the Deke dead for a second? But no. He was like, it was fine. And it does feel like you kind of getting in the show, because the first season, if like a regular one of the boys survived like a soup encounter, they'd be like insanely lucky. Whereas now it's like it's very easy to survive a fucking soup, which is pretty sad. I'm gonna say it's been an overall kind of okay season. I think it's better than season 2. The show hasn't, for me, really peaked season 1. I'm gonna say if I were to rank the season, I'd be 1, 3, 4, 2.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I don't. To be honest, they kind of all blend together in my mind. I'd have to rewatch them to remember my rankings, but that sounds kind of right.
And the acting is always still pretty solid through all 4 seasons. I'm gonna say. I mean, just the character of Homelander. The character of Homelander is probably really the most saving grace of the show.
He's like the beating heart of the whole show.
Yeah, there's like, if they killed him off earlier in the show, there's like no show.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing that, and so this so far back, I'm gonna say it's been kind of like an okay season. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm. This is what I'm kind of hoping for in the last episode, and in the last season. I'm gonna say I'm hoping they don't do a thing where they back and down in the last episode, because like every like kind of season finale, I guess in season 2, they kind of like they raise up for something to be really kind of interesting and maybe status quo shifting, but then they kind of just back down from it and change in favor of like continuing the sort of system they have.
We do know 5 is gonna be the final season, so maybe they can.
So I'm hoping that I hope that gives more leeway in the final episode for it to be an upending episode,
Yeah.
And so what I hope is that Victoria Newman continues being evil and she doesn't become really good.
I hope she
I really
lives into season 5. I feel like if she did become president, I feel like that'd be a cool idea.
And I hope, I'm gonna say this, I hope Sage and Homelander go through with the killing the president plan. Because I think that could be really interesting, you know?
Yeah.
That's my hope, and I hope like the boys don't really stop them. Because I think it's more interesting that way.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
would be more
And
interesting
no-
if the plan succeeded.
And like I really hope that it kind of leaves off in a moment where it's like a part 1 ending of a 2-parter season. And so like things are like, you know, like the entire world has changed and now the superheroes are in control and the final season is kind of them defeating the superheroes, you know? I hope that's how they end it. I hope the virus I really don't know how the virus is going to take into play other than maybe if it was going to do the thing where they defeat the superheroes, I hope they do. I think it would be really interesting if the virus does kill all the superheroes.
Yeah.
In like a final climactic way, because I think
then,
that'd be really,
Huey
really cool.
gets really pissed because Starlight died. Frenchie gets really pissed because Kimiko died. You know.
Yeah, and it's like a thing where it's all like then, because this is how the creator of the show said that it's gonna not end like the comics in a way, but it's gonna take some elements from the comics, and a big element of how the show kind of ends, which I don't think is gonna end like that, but in like maybe at least this little part where it's all like Butcher takes like after he like kills the whole, because like in the comics Black Noir is like Homelander's clone and all that.
Yeah, all that.
Where it was, but and he said that's not going to be in the show. But I think where it's like after like those two kind of die, Butcher kills all of the superheroes with like because there's a some sort of compound V where it's like he blows all the superheroes at once, and then he kills the entire boys team.
Yeah.
And then it leaves only Butcher and Huey alive. I mean, Starlight I think is still alive, but Butcher and Huey are still alive, and then like he sort of goads Huey into killing him, Butcher. And I think like that could be a pretty interesting dynamic.
I feel
where
like Butcher could also die at the end of this season.
I don't think they're gonna. Beck, Homelander and Butcher are like the main 2 characters of the show. They're not gonna kill them off.
Okay, yeah.
One thing I forgot about in RWBY just because you said that.
Butcher?
Holy shit. No, it's the fact that every character has plot armor right now, and I don't think anyone can die.
Yeah. Which is kind of annoying, you know?
Yeah, it's annoying when plot armor exists because there's only 2 characters right now in RWBY that I think can die, and that's Crow and the old lady.
Okay, yeah. Like they can't kill any of the main. Yeah, they I don't think they can kill anyone.
I don't think they can kill anyone except for like Crow, Grim Reaper, maybe like Nora. I don't know.
If they kill Nora, I'm quitting the show.
Nora and Ren have the least amount of plot armor as any of the other characters.
You know who doesn't have the plot armor for some reason, and like people have theorized that he will die? Fucking A-Train, because his arc is over.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die this episode because I heard people talking about how he was in a fight, and I'm like, oh, he probably was trying to fight Homelander, and then he instantly died. But no, I kind of feel like he is gonna die. He's gonna like,
which I really hope isn't the case, because like, you know, I would love to see him continue. I've fucking seen article titles where he hasn't died yet, but people are like, A-Train shouldn't die, opinion article.
Yeah, he should have died.
People assume he's gonna die so much that he hasn't even died yet. People think he shouldn't die, which I think is probably the better choice for him. I think it's really interesting to see a career with him on The Boys more, like in season 5. You know?
Okay, but he's also a speedster, and that is like a very hard thing to write. You know?
Yeah, just watch the fucking Flash for that. And so I'm gonna say I really, really hope they don't do the same thing they do for the past 3 seasons with this finale, and just sort of really lead it into season 4, where it's like kind of like not because like it was sort of like a cliffhanger, but not like a cliffhanger like oh he's gonna just kind of restart the same thing, like, or really like maybe it's like if season 4 and season 5 was like one season, this kind of cuts it off, like, you know, like kind of like how halfway through the last season of Breaking Bad, like Hank found out about Walter being like Heisenberg, and sort of like it leads into a really insane last half of the show.
Yeah.
That's my hope, and my hope is that it gets into a really interesting. I hope it's not just like a regular kind of battle or anything like that, because that's how they kind of did the last 2 seasons, and like it's okay.
They'll probably do a
It's
battle,
like,
but
that's like yeah.
all right. Well,
Um,
next thing, right?
House of the Dragon.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this House of the Dragon has been my favorite show of the summer so far. Where so like I think it's done a better job of this season than The Boys, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's definitely doing better than The Boys.
Because like you get to see it's like more of a really gradual build up of this season,
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like it also
You
starts
talk about
off like with a really good hook of Aegon's
Yeah.
child dying.
Yeah, so I'll talk about episode 3 and you do episode 4.
Got it.
Okay, so in episode 3, where we got this whole thing that it starts off with these 2 warring families in the Riverlands called the Blackwoods and the Brackens. Where so like it's known in the lore that Brackens and the Blackwoods have fucking hated each other for centuries, going back, and we don't even know the original reason.
Yeah,
It's sort of this thing where so like
I'm sorry to interrupt so quickly, but I think that was a really good like I don't know like I don't know the word
Like,
to
kind of
say,
like
but it's like a smaller
indicative of
version of the bigger war because like
because like yeah,
they don't
because
know
like
why
they're
the
both
war
from the
started,
Riverlands.
and then we have that
Yeah.
whole line later in the episode where it's like we don't know if the war started with Rhaenyra's son dying,
Viserys being killed.
yeah, or if it started with Aemond losing an eye. Like there's so many different places you could say the war started.
Yeah. And so it is indicative of the larger war brewing with the Targaryens themselves, because they're both from the Riverlands, and so like why would they be warring with each other? Which is exactly kind of the point, showing how this war is kind of useless. And this episode is called The Burning Mill because after that it cuts to like a battle between the Blackwoods and the Brackens, where a mill is we see a burning mill that has been burned. And it shows to kind of like the cyclical nature of violence, the whole mill motif,
Yeah.
And they're seeing that we don't actually get to see the battle. We see like the aftermath, and it's pretty brutal. In the books, they actually like kind of tell more about the battle and understand why no like main characters appear in this battle. So it was like fine that they didn't show it. It was cool that they showed kind of like the aftermath.
Yeah,
of it.
it just
but,
immediately
yeah.
cuts to like that what started it, and then immediately to the blood that was spilled.
Yeah. But essentially, this episode is still. I'm gonna say one thing about this: every kind of black council meeting has been like, Rhaenyra, should we start this war? I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't.
Peace. But also, they
peace.
killed
So
my
this was
son.
And so it's like this last so that in episode 3, they're essentially it's like this is the last chance of the peace ending this war.
Yeah.
Of like, and so this whole thing is like we get to see Rhaenyra. She wants to meet with Alicent to stop the war, and so I'll follow that a bit later. But essentially, now Kristen Cole, he's feeling kind of like very anxious and kind of shitty because he got Eric killed in both of them, and so they do this really cool shot where they see both of the brothers in the grave, and then it cuts to him looking up, like as he's looking at the graves, like he's the one who caused it essentially, which he was. And so we see in this episode that now that he's Hand of the King, he doesn't really know what to do, and he's getting very scared and all that. What was I gonna say? Aegon wants to go into battle, but like people are kind of like quietly laughing at him because like he says, "I'm as fearsome as any of them." And it's like, dude, you're fucking not.
You are not.
You are like, and so he's feeling kind of
dumb.
like in the whole council, they don't see him as king at all, and they're just like they're doing shit behind his back, like not treating him as like a king at all. bro, and his fucking Kingsguard, they are not fucking good Kingsguard at all. They're like, there's a Kingsguard are supposed to take like a vow of chastity and never take lands or marry anyone or have any sex or any of that.
Yeah.
And fucking, there's obviously Kristen who has broken that code many times. And now his Kingsguard are like, we should go down to like a brothel and like having like let's have some sex because one of us hasn't had some sex. And like he's like, but aren't you supposed to take a vow of chastity? And you see how they don't value him as a king so much that they were willing to just say that shit in front of him.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Aegon tries to be a big boy this episode because like he can't do it, and he actually goes down to the brothel with them. And then guess who's in the brothel? Aemon. And Aegon just kind of berates Aemon, and it shows the point of like as much as Aemon and Lucerys had a fight, Aegon was really his original bully the whole time.
Yeah.
And like he was the one leading the charge of the bullying on Aemon in the first place. And so we get to see how like those brothers have a terrible relationship, and he just sort of berates him, and then like Aemon's not willing to admit this, but he does care about that whore because it's the same whore he lost his virginity to.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Fuck this! I don't need a. You can have her. She's just a dumb whore." And then he walks away naked.
Yep.
And so I'm thinking of any other characters in this episode.
The brother of Alicent, I forget his name.
I think he's in episode 4.
No, he's in. I think he might be in 4.
I think that was the 4 thing.
Oh.
No, I think it was in this episode. Right? So I think they go. Yeah, it is in this episode where it's all like, Alicent's brother and like because Kristen Cole was like, he's planning to like attack all the like the Riverlands to like sort of get castles to vow for the green side. And so he goes to like battle with he goes on like a little campaign with like a small group of knights, and Alicent's brother's part of it. And like they do this thing with like he wants to like go to an inn and like because he wants to rest and all that is her brother and like the different troops, and he's like, no, we gotta continue marching. And it's like, what's the point? He's like, it comes off like very entitled. And for a second, I agree with Cole because like we're in war right now,
Yeah,
and those guys aren't really they're not understanding that this is war because for the past 80 years of this universe, there has been peace. And even Rhaenys says this in the very first episode of the show. These guys, they just play war. They're playing war. It's all like showing like this is just sons and daughters like playing a make-believe war. This isn't like this isn't real to them, but it's gonna get real very soon, And it sort of goes to the notion of because like this is a mother's war in reality. Because like Rhaenyra and Alicent, they're both mothers, and earlier in the show they could have mended things well, but it's their sons and the generations of their hate passed down that continues the battle.
Yeah.
And so while it's their sons playing war when they don't understand the gravity of it. And so it's just showing how serious things are going to become because then Baela, no, I think it was Rhaena actually, one of the daughters of Daemon with Laena.
Yeah.
She finds them and she's going to burn them, but then they manage to escape into the trees before they can, and like Rhaenyra says like, good job, you didn't like burn them, and like but the other council members did want her to burn Kristen Cole and the others.
Yeah, because that would have like ended the war.
Yeah. But so we're seeing how the cost of Rhaenyra's words, she's like she really does not want to continue this war before it gets too bad. And also Daemon is starting to do his side quest at Harrenhal.
Side quest of trying to hold Harrenhal with one guy.
Where he goes to Harrenhal, where it's like he goes to this guy named Simon Strong. He's all like, "Bro, I will." He's like, he comes in ready for a battle, but then the guy's all like, "I give you Harrenhal. I do not want a battle." And like Daemon was definitely wanting a battle. And so we see this episode how he's struggling with his inner demons, and he's sort of going through a thing where he's starting to feel guilt. Where the episode ends, where it's he gets a vision of like in his dreams of younger Rhaenyra, played by Millie Alcock, who was in the first 5 episodes of the show, and she's holding like a dead Jacaerys, and like he's saying how he's starting to feel guilty, and like there's also a witch who's like, you will die here, which makes sense because there is a real thing where it's like people who have held Harrenhal, they seem to randomly die.
Yeah.
And because Harrenhal is a very cursed castle. It's the biggest castle in Westeros, but it's like it's in ruins. It's kind of shit, you know. And so he's struggling with his guilt and all that stuff. What else? There's trying to. Okay, so actually, let me get to like the big part of the episode.
The big final scene
where it's all like Alicent sneaks in to. No, Rhaenyra sneaks in to meet with Alicent, and Alicent's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Rhaenyra, I'll kill you," and she's like, they're kind of freaking out. It's like Rhaenyra's like, "Okay, I should have started like that," and then they both talk about the war and how like Alicent's gotten to this point where it's all like she's kind of accepted this war for what it was, but Rhaenyra still wants to save it. And then they talk about like what kind of like started the war, and so like Alicent says, She said, your father on his deathbed, he said Aegon was the prince that was promised. At first, Rhaenyra's all like, okay, she's kind of like accepting the fact that her father changed his mind in the last instance.
Yeah.
But then she hears the word prince that was promised, and she's like, he talking about the prince that was promised, and he said he was talking about Aegon the Conqueror.
Aegon. Wow.
And she was all like, and then you feel like I was fucking dying at that thing because Alicent was such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, she's like, holy shit, I fucked up.
And she's like, oh, fuck.
An entire war started because you just wanted to call your kid Aegon. Or,
dumbass.
And, but the thing is, Alicent has accepted that, it doesn't really matter at this point. Because it doesn't. The war, Aemon already killed Luke. Daemon basically killed Jacaerys. And the war is, if it didn't start off because of, the whole Aegon naming thing, it's now started because of something else.
Yeah.
And it's too late. And then Rhaenyra has to finally accept that. And so that's how we end up the 3rd episode. It was a really good episode, I'm going to say. It was like, it was the last gasp of kind of peace before anything really, really major. I know there's big things that have happened, but those are more like kind of silent attacks where it hasn't been like a real war yet or anything like that.
Yeah.
But episode 4, baby, tell us that.
Episode 4. So it starts with Kristen Cole, and he's doing his whole murdering campaign. We're trying to claim all of the Riverlands for Team Green, and he has not failed at a battle yet. And he and Aemond are like, okay, what do we do now? They're like, what if we attack Rook's Rest? It is the last shoreline, like, city that we don't control, so it'll, like, trap.
Blockade.
Yeah, it'll blockade
from
Rhaenyra from the land. It's very good strategic. So this whole episode is building up to the whole Battle of Rook's Rest. And then Aegon is like, okay, you guys gotta respect me. I'm like the king. And right now, Alicent is like, dude, I started the war because I heard my son's name, but he was talking about a story. I am dying. So he just says...
And she kind of tailspins from that.
Yeah, so she says to Aegon, no one respects you. You're a terrible king. I hate you. And then Aegon is like, fuck. You know what? And then he's at a big war council meeting. Is like, wait, why are we attacking Rook's Rest? And Aemon's like, shut up, brother. I know the plan. It's like, you don't respect me. And then Aemon starts talking in High Valyrian. And then
Aegon doesn't
understand anything, tries to talk to him, can't say like a single word, and then he gets embarrassed again. So now he's getting dunked on by his mother and his brother. He realizes no one respects him. He's like, I gotta do something. So At the
But you gotta remember, he drinks a lot
yeah,
before
he
he
gets
decides to do
really
something.
drunk. And then that
And he wears Aegon the Conqueror's like armor.
Illyrian steel armor, so he's getting full ready to go into the Battle of Rook's Rest. No one expects him to go to the Battle of Rook's Rest, but he goes. And then Rhaenyra, she gets back like halfway through the episode because she was off talking with Alicent. She gets back, she's like, okay, we're going to war. And then she tells her son, do you know the Song of Ice and Fire? Tells him the whole thing about the Song of Ice and Fire. And am I forgetting anyone?
I'm Damon, I guess.
Daemon,
He's still doing his thing at
he's in
Harrenhal.
Harrenhal.
And he talks to the witch more. I bet we don't
Yeah.
really know if she's a witch or not,
And then he
but she is. And she just kind of talks to him, and she really gets into his head because he's now starting to imagine Elena, his dead wife, and like he's just basically going crazy there. And so he's still doing his kind of side quest thing. I hope he fucking leaves Harrenhal eventually.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of getting boring him just
he's
being
like
there.
trying
But
to
he's,
get
like,
the people of the Riverlands to like give him armies, but like he just keeps zoning out. So
Yeah. And what's really cool is that we saw the character because he appeared like a little season. There was a last season when he was younger. We got to see a character of like a Blackwood who fought for Rhaenyra's hand earlier in season 1. We
it
now
was that
get him
guy.
older, and that guy was a badass.
Yeah.
And we see how he's much more. Rhaenyra rejected him, but he was still swearing fealty to her. When fucking Kristen Cole got to be with her, and he's like, now the only thing Kristen Cole can say about Rhaenyra, she's a fucking bitch queen,
Yeah.
a cunning spider, a fucking spoiled cunt.
Yeah. So and then now we get to the whole Battle of Rook's Rest. So
Well, before you gotta say that, they like because this is kind of Kristen Cole's plan is to goad Rhaenyra into battle.
yeah, goad Rhaenyra
but
into
he doesn't
battle,
really
and then he
know.
has Aemond planted with his big dragon to ambush.
And Rhaenys is the one who's kind of been saying all season that when dragons go to fight, only
Yeah.
bad shit happens if dragons fight. But she's like, if they're gonna send someone, they might as well send me.
So they send her. She's going. She's fighting all the people, and Kristen Cole is like, "The dragon's here. Blow the signal." And then Aemond sees Aegon flying and is like, "Wait."
What the fuck?
So Aegon is now flying in, drunk, unprepared, no battle experience, to go fight one of the like most skilled dragon riders we've seen. So he goes in, they start dueling on dragons. And then Aemon's like, okay, I gotta go in. Aemond goes in, they're dueling. Aemon's like, I got a plan. Immediately blows fire on both of them. So basically tries to burn his brother alive to go kill this woman. They, I believe Aegon dive bombs into the ground. His dragon falls like so fast into the ground. I thought he died. Somehow Uri's telling me he survived that.
He does survive, but we don't really know the condition of either the Sunfire or
yes.
the him. What's really interesting that I don't know if you catch back, but the way he commands his dragon Sunfire, he says it in English to show how he's trained his dragon to use English instead of Valyrian.
Yeah.
And I found that really kind of indicative of his character.
Yeah, so then they're fighting, and Rhaenys kind of gets some good
losing
hits
pretty
off,
badly,
but does get some hits off, and then I think the way
she escapes for like a little bit. And Beck, why do you think Rhaenys came back to fight Vhagar?
To me, I kind of thought she thought that the dragon had been grounded and she was going in for the kill. That's what I thought happened. And then she got sneak attacked by it still being alive. That's the reason.
Yeah,
that's what I read it as.
I think I kind of remember it as more like this battle, this war is still probably going to continue past this point. I might as well go in and like kind of in a blaze of glory, like a true dragon.
Yeah. That one makes sense. But then she dies. She falls off her dragon. Her dragon dies. So, big losses on both sides. Aegon crippled. They lost Rhaenys.
And then Kristen Cole tries to find Aegon. And he kind of just like goes on his knees, and Aemon was all like, "Whatever."
He's
And there's really cool
dagger.
shot where it's like
the dagger was the
burning.
big thing he took, because that's the Solid Ice and Fire dagger.
Yeah, and like Kristen Cole just falls to his knees, and you just see how pathetic of a man Kristen Cole really is. He's a terrible guard.
And then he's walking on the battlefield, and he sees all the the dead corpses, and you realize, oh wait, war is kind of bad.
And so like these men are so small compared to a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
You know? They're all watching the real war in the sky.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting, and now I feel like we got, like, as I've said, it's like the war is starting to build up, but now I feel like we're in full motion because we got our first dragon fight. And Beck, I'm gonna say this, I found it kind of hard to watch the dragon fight because it was very sad watching the dragons fight each other, you know?
It was also, I like the way they choreographed it, where it's like they kind of death spiraled each other and they kept trying to blow fire on each other. It was like very uncoordinated, but it's like that's how dragons would kind of fight.
Yeah. And yeah.
This is
And
the
so
first
it's like
ever
it's
time we've
really
seen a dragon on dragon combat. Because like in Game of Thrones, we
Yeah.
never had that. Oh no, we did kind
And
of.
with the ice dragon,
Yeah, with the
right?
ice dragon, kind of.
Yeah, like I choose not to remember those seasons. But and so now I get to see. I think Aemon might be my most favorite character in the show. He's
Aemon
really
is really
fucking
cool.
I want to see him like lose and die, but I also want to see him win
I want
and
to see
kind of
like
fight.
how he would act as king.
Yeah, because if he becomes king, he might be a better king, but he also might be a worse, like more of a
violent
tyrant.
king.
And we're seeing that you don't fucking mess with Aemon. He basically because like Aegon's killed, made fun of like Aemon his whole life, but like you saw Abdul Lucerys. Even though he lost control of his dragon, you saw Abdul Lucerys.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of Aemon is the message.
Yeah.
And so, really exciting. Rhaenyra is kind of taking the loss this episode.
Yeah, I mean both sides. The king basically kind of crippled their and then one lost one of their big allies. So I mean they both
So
lost.
it's getting really exciting. This is a great season so far.
Yeah.
I mean we got 4 episodes left, so I'm excited to see how they ended off. But those are the two.
Those are the two Beck and RWBY ones.
Let's get to the final two movies.
Yes. The double feature we did: Despicable, Horizon, and American Saga 4 Part 1.
Yeah, actually, it's chapter. It's a part.
Is it chapter?
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, you know how we're making so many jokes about like this being a 3-hour episode and that being so long? Turns out there was a 3-hour movie
that we
had to watch. So
was
this
it good?
entire episode so far, plus another 40 minutes, and then that's what we had to sit through.
So the past few weeks, Beck was all like, you know what? I want to watch Horizon. I think it's gonna be like, I'm excited to watch Horizon, and like, yeah, like okay, but then like I thought it would be funny. I thought we go after Kinds of Kindness, we were in and out, and I thought, you know what? I think it would be funny if we watched Horizon. Beck really kind of wanted to see it before. Aiden did not want to watch it at all.
$38 million of his own money into making this movie.
Yeah, I did not want to see this fucking movie, but Beck really wanted to see it, so we went to see it.
And I wanted to see it for the joke really hard.
I only went because you guys wanted to go.
But Beck was the original kind of starter of watching Horizon, and so Beck buys tickets. There's no one else in the theater at all. Like a Garfield
theater at the movie theater. No one is there. And so I'm thinking this is a good thing. We can Garfield it. Guys, we can Garfield. So we can scream at each other the entire movie.
Oh, and you know what? We do that for most of it. But then the problem arises.
Boring that screaming at each other during the movie, it still wasn't enjoyable. Like,
and then, okay, but I guess we should talk about what happens in the fucking movie. I don't know.
Do we have
Stuff
to? Can
happened
we
in
just
this
say
movie?
it's bad?
No, nothing happened
Man,
in this movie. We can't talk about anything. Nothing happened.
Guys, there's like a Native American attack.
Kevin Costner having sex with an Australian supermodel.
Yeah, that's all that happened in the fucking movie, really.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even know if I can talk about the plot. Nothing. There's just like a bunch of random. It's just a bunch of random.
Guys, here are all these characters. They die. Here's all these new characters. This entire family dies. Here's a bunch of new characters. These two people die. Here's a bunch of new characters. They have nothing interesting. Here's a montage of what's happening in the next movies.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I fucking hated the montage at the end of the movie.
Guys, if the first group of people was all that there was of this movie, if it was just a 20-minute short film about that, it'd be probably okay.
Yeah, this is the worst movie of the year in my opinion.
Yeah. Because like, okay, the characters don't feel like they go anywhere. The movie is dull as fuck. You think, okay, kind of interesting.
Even ruined the sex scenes. How do you do that?
It was a clothes-on sex scene.
Supermodel.
Kevin Costner's character just kind of comes and like
he doesn't even ejaculate. What are you talking about? Bro doesn't come at all.
He comes in like halfway through the movie.
Kevin Costner fake outs for like the first hour. But
yeah.
Never.
Is that Kevin Costner? The characters don't feel like they go anywhere. It feels like 20 different movies at a time, and none of them are interesting.
Nope.
There's characters are boring, no arc. You think, are they going to build up this character? Because like for a second I thought the character was like he has like he was like kind of like an evil brother or something. I thought, oh, he's going to be like the villain of the movies. Nope, they kill him off and like because this guy, there's going to be 4 fucking Horizons. 4 fucking.
This is 3 hours.
That is if they come
and
out.
It was slow, boring, and nothing happened. How do you have 3 movies?
That's a great question, Beck. How do they have 3 movies? But well, good news. Horizon Part 2 got delayed. Or
this
doesn't
one is
exist.
doing so bad that they had a planned release date for Chapter 2, which was like a month from now, and they pulled it.
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, you did. Give me your Letterboxd review. It's really funny.
Oh yes, Kevin, what's that over the horizon? $38 million burning.
No.
Guys, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
When both of you left and you came back, and I said the little girl got like betrothed to the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you lie?
I made that up. I was just trying to.
Son of a bitch!
I made it up so I could create something interesting about this fucking movie. Something interesting.
Wait, what actually happened? Because she wasn't.
Nothing fucking happened.
No,
she just came like that
We
thing.
left like 3 times to go to the bathroom, and each time we missed nothing.
Wait, because she didn't show up for the rest of the movie, so I totally just believed you.
I believed you too.
And she's like the first character we're introduced to in the movie, and she doesn't appear for more of it. That's insane. We fully just believed you on that point.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's an amazing move, Uri. That's
It's an
crazy. I
amazing
give props
move.
to you. This is the biggest plot twist in Celsius history. Second biggest plot twist in Celsius history.
Yeah.
Above me going to the
I might as well
Marvels.
create something interesting for this movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that interesting. We just came back and we're like, oh, okay. And
Well,
you're like,
that's-
that's the guy she was betrothed to. I'm like, yeah,
Was
that
some
guy looks pretty
random guy in
happy.
the back of a cart.
It's because Uri kept joking about the fact that the Darman girl who was betrothed was. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
Aiden, this
That was
entire
Aiden.
movie was on his phone, just Googling these actors. Like, this woman, she was in Darman.
Because
it
nothing
was
was
really.
She's an
really-
Australian supermodel.
I was on Twitter for 30
She
minutes. Of this
started
movie.
trying to watch Monsters Inc. at one point.
It
Aiden really
so
was
boring.
the only thing Adrian was interested was in the Australian supermodel who plays Marigold.
Okay.
Yeah, who
Do you
doesn't
know the
even
worst
get
part
naked.
of the movie? 2
Oh.
hours in, some random guy, some random old 7-year-old guy walks into the theater and sits down.
Yeah, we can't even make funny jokes anymore.
So now we can't laugh loudly and run around the theater because there's another guy there. But also, this guy's not going to enjoy the movie. One, because it's bad, and two, you're 2 hours into it. What are you going to get out of this? Go see
Nothing.
Inside Out 2. You can understand that. You can't understand Horizon.
Terrible.
It's just
I kept talking at a normal speaking volume through the rest of
Yeah.
the movie because
I
I
don't think
did
he
not
cared.
care.
maybe guys, maybe they heard you were making too much noise and they sent a guy to like
Did they
check.
have people to send in as like a fake
Yeah.
as like a fake undercover worker? And they're like, you gotta go make sure those children aren't yelling and
They are
screaming.
enjoying. Make sure they aren't enjoying Horizon.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, it's just like incomprehensible. It's
No.
dull. It's boring.
How was this the movie
It's-
Kevin Costner wanted to make for like 30 years?
Who knows?
How did this is my I have a little theory. When they were showing this at con, they were like after he was clapping, he was crying. He wasn't crying because people loved it so much and like he felt appreciation from others. He was crying because this movie is so bad. Oh my god!
I just lost $38 million. What did I do?
This
What did I
movie
do?
would be This movie would be much better if each 4 parts of the movie were the 4 fucking movies.
Yeah, they have random characters that will never meet or never meet in this movie,
Yep.
and I doubt we'll ever meet because this is not getting past the part 2 that they've already filmed.
This
Yeah.
is not getting past that. It's gonna unless he puts more of his own money into it.
Dude is gonna get like loan sharks and like put his life
What?
on the line to try to make chapters 3 and 4.
None of it mattered, dude. Like halfway through, they introduce a British couple who do nothing but show bare tits and then laugh about it or something.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
like their whole thing is that they drink water.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing.
and they don't
Terrible.
work like real men in the fields.
Yeah, because they're British.
And they
And-
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because fucking terrible.
it's just like it's such a nothing movie.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
So
Yeah.
guys, you just had to see
Any-
part 2?
Yeah.
we're
Anyway,
gonna get high at
We
Beck's
are
house to
gonna
watch it.
get high to watch part 2 if we go to it. That's the only way I can get through another Horizon movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if it's like a Dune 2 scenario where it's like Dune 1's kind of boring and it's the best movie ever? Part
This
2.
time
That'd be
there are
incredible.
2 sex scenes.
Well, let's talk
Kevin
about.
Costner gets pegged. No.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about the Pickle Me 4 though. The
Okay.
good movie we watched.
So they didn't have a plot. They wrote down a lot of funny ideas, and then they're like, okay, but what if we add a child? And then that's the movie.
Yeah. It was way more entertaining than Horizon.
It
though.
was way
Yeah.
more entertaining than Horizon. But also,
Immediately
I
better.
was so wiped out from Horizon. It was hard for me to I enjoyed a lot of this. It was hard for me to watch just because I was like, dude,
Yeah.
fuck that movie.
Beck was like sleepy,
Yeah.
Beck,
And
'cause, like,
he was
Beck is
crying.
It
kind
took me a
Yeah.
large icy, a large Coke, a pizza my heart pizza, and then halfway through I had to get a pack of Reese's Pieces. That's what it took to get me through Horizon.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
That's how you
Um,
say it.
Because guys, Beck is now like a full baby. He cries, he sleeps. He's just like, do we need to get breastfed, Beck?
He
Are
can't
you
walk
Homelander?
either.
I can walk,
Uh,
just not for long
need someone to-
distances.
Like a baby.
Beck, were you recently in utero?
Were you
What?
recently
Because you're a
born?
baby.
I was not recently born.
I don't know.
Beck, I think you have a soft spot on your head
Oh my
because you're a
God, we
baby.
didn't talk about the plot of Despicable Me 4.
So he gets found. The Will Ferrell bug is like, Gru, I hate you, and Gru is like, haha, you go to jail now. And then he goes to jail, and he's like, Gru, I'm gonna find where I know where you live. Fat Bottom is like, Gru, we must move you and your family, and they move their family to somewhere, and then they have to live in that somewhere, and none of them are very good at it. And Gru gets found out by a little girl, and she's like, I found out your little secret that you got. We're gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna blackmail you. And we're gonna steal a badger. And so they steal the badger, and then Will Ferrell bug is like, "Ha! I found where you live now, and I'm gonna steal your baby." And then he steals the baby and makes it a bug. And then he's like, "It is my child now." And then Gru is like, "No, because my child loves me." And then the child loves him. And then that's the end of the movie.
And then the baby
I'm gonna say, comparatively
knows Gru
to
loves him,
Horizon-
and then they make up.
Yeah.
Comparatively to Horizon, insanely good movie. But on its own, probably like
To
the
me,
second.
I'm like, what was
worst
the
of the
point in the
Despicable franchise.
whole like hairdressing scene? What's the whole point in the karate scene? Like, those never
Just
like
for like
yeah,
for,
just
like,
like random
movie
scenes
stuff.
that they wanted to make jokes out of. But I feel like they should have had it like back.
That-
And what was
that's
the whole thing with
fine.
like they built up like this whole like tennis match against the neighbor and then it didn't like
They
nothing
did
really.
not build up a whole tennis match. They no, come on, Beck. This is just you not knowing how to watch it.
Oh my
Your
god.
complaints are just like there are funny things in the movie. Have you watched Napoleon
I
Dynamite?
have
Because I
watched
don't.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Those are just like basically Napoleon Dynamite. Like things that don't matter happen, and you're complaining about them. I don't get it, man.
Okay, yeah, maybe I should just go into it not expecting a Horizon level of build up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say this. It was pretty funny. They had some really good jokes. Like, it's a nice little movie. It's like, it's fine. Compared to Horizon, it's a masterpiece.
Yep.
But on its own, it's like, there is no need. I'm not saying there's a need for it. It was fine. There's no need for this Despicable Me franchise to continue. It's like the best ones. I'm gonna say Minions 1, the first two Despicable Me's, and that's kind of like the top.
Yeah,
kind of
I
like tier.
think those are what I would call like good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of the other movies are like acceptable Illumination.
Oh, we completely
kind of
forgot
fringe movies.
the Minions arc was really funny in this one, where they like have like 5 minions become super. I thought that was
Yeah.
And one's in the vending machine.
that was pretty entertaining. I
Yeah,
feel
there's one in a vending machine the whole time.
the minions are pretty funny. I will admit they were like they had like the funniest parts in the movie.
I think
Wow, Beck, you're an aunt on Facebook. Yeah, the Minions are funny.
I think one thing that was very interesting was that that one of the super minions is Dave, which is like one of the original minions from like the original movie, who's had stuff in like every movie.
Yeah.
Which is very very impressive that they like keep using the same ones even though there's like a billion of them, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fairly cool.
And then the final scene, which was them all singing "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and then all the villains from the past movies show back up in the prison and they
Yeah.
dance, and it was cool.
Even all the ones that were dead
Yep.
are here. Like the hot lady from Minions 1 and the hot guy from Despicable Me 1. They're all
Wait,
there.
didn't that guy with didn't that one from the second one? Didn't he blow up in a volcano?
He did blow
Yeah.
up in a volcano.
But then he appeared. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
ignore
like,
that
Didn't
Vector
all
is
like,
on
the
Mars.
villains in Minions 2 like get like changed into like statues or something?
Shut up, dude. One of them was
Yeah.
one of them goes a bug. This
One
whole
of them was
movie.
on the moon. How'd he get off the moon?
He went to Mars. Even.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the big the first maybe the first movie that emotional core of the first movie is so fucking good.
Yeah.
About like him and the $3. But then again, it's kind of like you don't really care about the emotional core about the fourth movie. It's like the big emotional moment was like
children.
yeah,
No,
the big
but
emotional moment was
remember
like
the baby, and the
the
baby
baby is
is
all like-
very interesting.
the crew's all like, you can let go. What? And so it's the emotional core of the movies have pretty much degraded by this point, but it's like enjoyable. I see kind of like the last scene where they're all singing about the villains to end the franchise.
Yeah.
They do.
It felt like that they wanted that to be the end of the franchise. But
Yeah.
they're probably gonna make a fifth one.
Yeah, well,
Because
keep
they
making
can.
Minions.
They're gonna make a Minions 4 after Minions 3 after I've graduated. So we'll see that as like a post
I am
graduation.
excited
Right.
for Minions 3. I feel like imagine Minions, but there's no humans talking. Like in the entire movie.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
think.
really good. I want to watch that.
I think that'd be good, but the gimmick gets like annoying after 10 minutes.
No, not if it's just like a funny slapstick
Yeah,
movie.
a funny slapstick movie. Because I feel like
Like
the
if they
problem
just
with 2 is that it focused on Gru too much. At least
yeah,
that's
I
the
don't think
problem I had with it.
like in the first movie, like the Minions had some stuff to do. At least they weren't like they were like, oh, this new funny thing is here. And in the second movie, it's they don't really have like a thing aside from they got kidnapped and now are evil. And then movie 3, they have like a whole fucking they go on whatever America's Got Talent or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, they go to prison.
And but like
They go to prison.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that whole shit is so boring and is half the movie.
Yep.
At least in this one, the like Mega Minions weren't much of the movie and were kind of just funny that like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna leave it for today.
Yes.
I think so.
So recommendation:
Um.
go watch Horizon.
Don't watch Horizon. You should end your life.
Play
if you
Horizon
instead-
Zero Dawn.
So true. Or maybe don't do that either.
Here's an anti-recommendation: go watch Horizon.
Yeah.
Guys, evil Uri be like, go watch Horizon.
And
Like Bynes is like, this is my favorite movie.
Evil Celsius podcast wouldn't tell you the weather like we haven't. It's 66 degrees, by the way.
Yeah, we're the good Celsius.
Evil Celsius members would lie about what a woman getting betrothed in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're the
Always
Let's
use
Go, we're the Let's
Celsius.
Go gang, and you Celsius heads.
Yeah.
Bye.
RWBY.